Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. However you happen to be watching and or listening to this, I want to welcome you to the latest episode of the Gaming Circle podcast. The podcast where clearly I do not sound like I normally do, and this is because I am in a hotel room somewhere in Fort Lauderdale. It is Father's Day weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the great fathers out there. And for that, I have been taken to a illustrious location to have some fun with the family. But of course, the show must go on. I am your host, Mr. K. Asante, TKO Asante, on all the places we communicate. And I am joined today and every day by the great one, Mr. Everborn Saga. Good morning, sir. Yes, I sound like I'm coming from a bathroom. Forgive me. What up?
Hey, shout out to you in Father's Day weekend. I had to very explicitly tell Lady Everborn, do not do anything extravagant this year because we are in the middle of a very expensive building project, and we just can't do it. So not anything to do with her, but it was my request that we do nothing this week.
Sir, after all the moving and shaking it took me to get this show started this morning, I wish I had done the same for mine. But that's neither here nor there. Forgive me if I sound horrible.
Let's be clear though. I'll let her know. This is a rain check. This is not a cancellation.
I feel you.
We got to get through this. We're doing it. You know what we're doing, but yeah.
Of course, yes. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Let me show y'all, to show you all that I am not being held hostage. Oh, hold on, the camera's not even working. Let's see, will it work? Here's K. Asante. Terrible camera, terrible audio. We're gonna deal with it today. It is what it is. Anyway, let's keep it moving. But all right, thank y'all so much for being here. Today will be somewhat of a concise show because, as we've said, there's life happening right now. Oh, okay, yes, I'm stuck in a Cuban prison. Thank you, Rodimus. Appreciate you, sir.
Shout out to Megatron.
Yup. Shout out to all the great teams out there, all the great people that are in our chat right now, keeping it live. I know y'all been waiting for us. Thank you so much for being here. Today we will talk about some games, and then we'll talk about some rumors, and then we're gonna get the heck out of here because life is happening. But we're gonna start with the games because last week rather, when we did all this, the news gods provided a little too much to the point where the games ended up being last, and I never like the games being last. I want the games to be first.
The news gods provided a lot this week too.
I know they did, but I'm gonna pretend that it is different than last week, even though it's worse than last week. I know it is. All right.
Well, I don't have a lot, so I'll start.
Please, yes. What's going on?
I only have 2 games this week.
Okay, what you got?
I have finally, even though I bought it on day 1, I have finally started 007 First Light.
Oh man, so this is not going to be just 2. This is going to be far less than 2 because I'm about to talk about 007 as well.
You know what?
First.
I will leave that. No. I'll leave that to you. I played the opening mission, and now they're trying to recruit me into the thing, and so that's where I am. So basically,
so you're a little earlier than me. Okay, cool. All right, what else you got?
So there's another one that just came out. This is from Square.
Okay.
And it is called Adventures of Elliot, I believe.
Yes.
I pre-ordered this maybe 3 or 4 months ago because I was that excited about it. It is from the creators of Octopath Traveler. And this is basically an action RPG version of Octopath Traveler. If you know Octopath Traveler, it's turn-based, but it's one of those 2D HD things where it's like pixel art characters and 3D backgrounds. It is a very distinct art style, and Octopath Traveler 1 and 2 are goated, but if maybe you're not in the turn-based, so this is an action. It's not Octopath Traveler, it's a new RPG, but the point is it's from the same people with the same aesthetic. But it is action based, and it's fully voice acted. I started it recently. It feels good to play. Seems like there's a big world going on, but there is a demo of it. But if you know Everborn, you know Everborn does not do demos because I don't like to be teased in case I like the game. So I explicitly stayed away from the demo, and I'm playing it for the first time now. I will say I don't know if it feels as good as the Alabaster Dawn combat wise.
Okay.
But there's a lot going on with the story, and like I said, it is fully voice acted.
So Everborn, I can't post footage of it because of my current situation. If you wouldn't mind being able to do that, that'd be good to show the people.
I will do my best.
Yeah, I can even share you. I can give you the link to share because I know the link.
Yeah, give me the link of a video.
I'll put it in the private chat right now, and then you can just share it with the people. Because I think they should see the graphics on this thing, the way it looks. It's quite beautiful. It is quite beautiful. Let me stop mine, and you can share yours. But yes. So how far into it are you so far?
Wait a minute. One moment, please. Why am I getting ads?
Hey.
Oh.
Hey.
Wait a minute.
Is your YouTube premium
it's the wrong account. It's the wrong account. It's the wrong Google account. All right. Add account. What are we doing here?
He said, "Oh my God, ads."
No, I felt so.
You hear this? Ladies and gentlemen, don't click away from our ads. We need those. And by the way, while Everborn pulls this up, I would be remiss without necessarily calling out some of the other housekeeping stuff we had going on before we jump into all of this, which is, first off, thanks to every amazing human being who has been frequenting thegamingcircle.com. Since Summer Game Fest, we put a lot of content out. We've been talking to a lot of developers. We've been doing a lot of previews. A lot of stuff has been going up on the site. And we see people have been paying attention. People have been watching. People have been reading. A lot of stuff has been happening there. So thank you guys so much for continuing to support us on thegamingcircle.com. I saw Toon Medic in here a little bit ago. Shout out to Toon Medic. He put an opinion piece that he wanted us to publish onto the Gaming Circle, which we did recently, about where Xbox is and where he thinks Xbox should go and all of this. Super interesting article, starts the conversation, so please go check it out if you haven't done so already. It is thegamingcircle.com/blog. A lot of great previews there, and we're not done. You'll see a lot more there. We're gonna be parlaying some of that into interviews that you'll see soon. So all of that is really cool going on. So thank you guys so much for continuing to support us. Everborn, do you have the footage you wanted to share?
I do.
Fantastic.
All right, this is like the opening. I don't think you need to see the story or whatever. We don't want to do spoilers for people, but you can see. Now you see what's going on.
Yeah.
So it has obviously the retro vibe, but it's 3D and it's just fun to look at. You know what I mean? So
how long have you been playing it?
Not even an hour yet.
Okay.
It
looks really cool.
I got it. I think it unlocked on Thursday.
Yeah.
And then I played it last night, like right before bed, just so that because I had been waiting it for so long, and I wanted to tell people about it today. So I'll have more to say next week.
Fantastic.
Now the question is, am I gonna no life this, or am I just gonna finish First Light? Because First Light's really good, which you were about to talk about.
Yes, sir. Now, do you know how long this game is?
It's a full RPG, so I'm gonna imagine.
So we're talking hundreds of hours.
I don't know about that. When I play an RPG, I mind my own business. I'm trying to save the world. I don't care about your stupid side quests for whatever you want me to get you.
So you're not gonna help me. You're not gonna help me pick the flowers or find me a date. No, What's going on?
I'm not doing any of that. I have better things to do than solve your problems.
That is unfortunate, man.
Trying to save
that's what RPGs are all about, man. It's about finding me dates and going either picking dates, the fruit, or finding me a date as a human.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Understood. Okay. So how much is this thing right now?
So this is the other problem. This is Square, and they are notoriously greedy.
Okay.
By the way, BT Maverick says it's 30 to 40 hours, which was what I expected for a proper.
Okay, that's not terrible. Okay.
But this thing is like $60. I paid because I got it from Green Man Gaming maybe, like I said, 3 or 4 months ago, whenever it went on pre-sale, which was very early. And at that time, you could get it for like below 50. I think I paid like $48 for it or something like that.
Okay. Well, I can tell you that the official price currently, with a 15% discount, is $50.99, and that's still on Green Man Gaming right now. So
yeah,
you get
it was cheaper
your
than
June
that.
deal. Yeah, it used to be cheaper, but now the cheapest you're getting is 15% off, $50.99. But you can still grab that today, and that is specifically for the Steam version for those who want to play that version.
Yeah, but again, steep price, but they are giving you a lot, and it is fully voice acted. So I think, like, to me, putting this much work into a game, even though it's 2D,
I'm sorry. The great Soiltech says, I gave him like 2 to 5 articles last month, yet no mention. Shout out to the great Soiltech, who has been providing copious articles.
On his neck, Soiltech.
Copious articles. Great articles, by the way. Shout out Soiltech. Damn, man. Jesus. All right. Forgive me, Soiltech. I didn't mean to not mention the greatness that is the great articles that you have been providing. Forgive me, sir. Yeah. Forgive me.
Also, I will say, there's a lot of talking in this game.
Yeah?
Like I said, you don't have to read it all as voice acted,
okay.
which on a handheld, which is how I was playing it, that is greatly appreciated. I have really been hurting. You know, I'm gonna say something, and I don't often say this. You and Major and Sycamore and John were right.
About what?
7 inches is too small on the Xbox Ally. You were right. And I realize it when I'm playing games that aren't voice acted or require text, have a lot of dialogue. And my old man eyes is just squinting at the screen. And the funny thing is, the Switch 2, which is 8 inches, I rarely feel that. Like it doesn't hurt my eyes the way it does on the Xbox Ally. So you guys were right. And
it is what it is. No. I appreciate you saying that, and just so you understand, I know you do, that it wasn't a whole war back and forth. That was the basis of it, right? The screen was great, but it was too small, especially for games that require text. I'm playing things like what's that game that I really, really enjoyed on the Steam Deck? It's like text-heavy games, really text-heavy games, smaller screen. It's a great big problem. It is what it is.
It's also a Windows problem, right? Because Windows doesn't do text scaling great for small screens. The Steam Deck sort of intuitively knows, right, like how to scale for a small. And maybe it's a Linux thing or whatever.
Well, no, it's not that it scales it better. It's because the screen itself is 800p, so it's not tiny. The screen itself does not go 1080p. So the text will always be legible. The bigger the resolution, the tinier the text, right? So the plus that is higher resolutions on our handhelds is the minus for text, because it'll make that text super tiny while keeping graphics crispy and all that.
The funny thing is, I set the just for battery purposes, and I mostly play 2D games. My Xbox Ally is usually set to 720p. So, but that
I will say the ideal scenario I've seen in this, and by the way, I know my voice is terrible. Mic is horrible. I've maxed out the mic. I hope it's not god awful if people hear it. So forgive me. The thing that I have found that usually works best with that is there are some games that know they're good on handhelds and they scale individually inside the game. So you can scale the HUD. That's usually the one that's when I find it works best, because now it doesn't matter what kind of resolution you have. You can scale it, and then the text is individually scaled versus the gameplay. I always find that those are the ones that I gravitate towards because they do it best.
So okay, Slomo, I wanna address this. He said the game has a lot of talking like it isn't every RPG. Yeah, but there is a point where like you do feel, listen, I'm not sick, right? Sycamore. Sycamore.
You're not Mr. Too Much Talking.
But it does feel like sometimes they go along so long and they're kind of repeating the point. And it's just like, I get what you're trying to communicate. Let's move on already.
Yeah. Okay. But clearly, not just by your definition or by you saying so, I have heard so many people jumping out the window about this game, about how great this game is. So I don't expect anybody to be disappointed in picking this up. I have not picked it up yet, but that's just because the backlog is growing and growing and growing and growing. But yes, this is an awesome game by every measure. And you think this will win awards, possibly, at least graphically?
I have to play it some more.
Okay.
Because again, I don't like gameplay wise. I'm not talking about what the story is. I'm not talking about the graphical presentation.
Yeah.
But as a top-down action 2D action RPG, I don't think it has Alabaster Dawn beat, but Alabaster Dawn is in early access. And so if I was choosing between the two and Alabaster Dawn was at 1.0, just the feeling of the moment to moment apart from the story, I would go with Alabaster Dawn. So I don't know.
Now, is Alabaster Dawn on consoles yet? I didn't think so, right? Or
I think
it
it's
is
early access, so I don't think that it is yet.
See, that may be a question.
It might be by the end of the year, though. It might be.
Sure. That is a question that, like, a conversation that maybe is worth having at some point. Like, I feel like sometimes early access, giving you a taste, ends up not being good for the game ultimately. Yes, it's good for the game because now you're testing it and making sure it's good.
Hades 2 and
Baldur's Gate 3. But see, but Hades 2 and Baldur's Gate 3 had huge splashy console launches. If you don't have a huge splashy console launch, people just tend to, I saw that already, even though it was an early access, and they move on.
But they just have to make it a huge splashy console launch.
And again, I hope so.
A third game is No Rest for the Wicked, even though Thomas Mailer just crapped on
people
who got him where he came from. But that's neither
exactly. That is my point. You are making exactly my point. Great comparison. Like No Rest for the Wicked. I believe No Rest for the Wicked should have had the hugest splash. Yes, Mahler is who Mahler is. You may or may not like his takes on things, but the first time I saw that content, I was blown away by the graphical output, by the storytelling. They put their best foot forward, as only the makers of Ori could. But for some reason, because it's in early access and it has been for so dang long, it becomes old hat eventually. You know what I'm saying? Before anyone has really officially reviewed it, quote unquote.
Yeah, and again, we understand that these things happen for different reasons. But remember, after the Private Division takeover, I think that's who was publishing it first from Take-Two or whoever. They had their plans changed because their publisher was sold, and they had to buy their rights back from the entity, and now they're self-publishing, and so they needed to make that money back to, one, finish the game, and two, the fact that they had to pay to get the rights back. So I get it, and I even part of me gets them saying we're a small team and we need to launch somewhere, so we're gonna pick one place and then go to the others. And so they'll just optimize when they can. But I just feel like Xbox kind of got you there. You should. Most of your fans of this are because they played your Xbox exclusive, console exclusive game. You should have thought about that one, because it would have been. Now you have some, there's some drama around it. Whereas if it was just everywhere when you launched it, maybe you don't have to deal with some of that people being salty. But I do get it, right? They are self-publishing. They are a small team. They're gonna choose one platform.
I think they rode the wave of the console warrior thing, because he was on Twitter doing the whole thing, and it may not have worked out for him. You know what I'm saying? I think he just rode that wave, and
he tried to do the Baldur's Gate special.
Yes, and it didn't work out in his best interest on this one, unfortunately. Yeah, but
all right, send me a link to First Light so that we can move forward.
Yes, so real quick, I like to separate the art from the artist, at least in that respect. So even though Mahler is who Mahler is, and everybody has opinions on it, I will definitively say I like what they've shown of No Rest for the Wicked. Looks awesome, and I hope eventually it lands, because people should play that. That thing looks amazing. But all right, so Everborn, you wanted the footage to No Rest Out. No, what am I talking about? You wanted the footage to 007. That is also in the private, if you wouldn't mind. The second link in the private chat. That is the No Rest. That is the 007 footage. So if you would click on that and share that, we would appreciate that, sir. And let me remove the other one. Or actually, no. Are you there, everyone? I don't know if you can hear me, sir. You there? Uh-oh. Your mic, if you're speaking, sir, your mic is muted. And he is not speaking. Or he is speaking and he doesn't know his mic is muted. Testing 1 2, everyone talking. Can you hear us?
All right, no.
There you go.
StreamYard's the window with StreamYard's completely froze.
Oh no.
I clicked on, couldn't get on mute, but
oh no. Are you good now? Oh, fantastic.
All right, so I'm
fantastic StreamYards.
I'm on it. What is
the
third link? Do I need to worry about the third link?
We'll deal with the third link at that. Just deal with the second for now. The second being 007.
All right.
And forgive us, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, for those who say, "Hey, this show is working a little different right now. K Asante sounds a little odd right now." I am in a hotel room, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I am just taking a pause from my Father's Day weekend festivities to host this show because the show must go on. So please forgive us if it doesn't sound as quality as it normally does. We're doing the best we can, and we still providing you some content here. So here we go. So 007. I'm about what 2.5, 3 hours into this thing. It's not too long. I'm further than you are as far as being recruited. If you know anything about
the mission I played, was like before he was recruited into the agency.
Yep.
He's just like a what is the British version of a Marine?
Yeah, I don't know. I do not know. I know there are some British folks in the room. Please help us out. What is the British version of a Marine? He seems like he's a British Marine. But yes, very cool game. I gotta be honest. I was like initially, and let me give you the full aspect here. I was lucky enough during Gamescom last year to get a presentation of this. I couldn't speak about it until much later. Oh yeah, the SAS. There you go, the SAS. That's probably what it is. Yeah. Couldn't speak about it when initially it came out because embargoes and all that. But ultimately, I came away from that super high. I really thought the game was excellent, and I was looking forward to seeing where it was coming. The problem that people were pointing out and they were worried about was that it initially seemed like it was just going to be more Hitman, right? It looked like Hitman with a 007 skin, but I mean,
I didn't get any Hitman from the opening.
This is what I'm about to say. Yes, I think we can report that is definitely not the case. That is not the case. There is definitely Hitman in here, and as you go in the game, and you there are a lot of parties you have to infiltrate and all those other things, right? So obviously there will be that Hitman people puzzle aspect, which they do so well. They do so well with IO. But in this instance, in this game, I get a little Hitman. I get Uncharted. I get a lot of Tomb Raider in this. It's really cool. Really cool. And yeah, not everything is like super polished and great. Like I know people had a problem with the driving. I don't know if you've gotten to the driving yet, Everborn Tiger, but the drive I've had a little bit of the driving experience. It isn't fantastic. But it isn't like trash either, right? That's not why you're there. This is not Forza, and maybe you played Forza before you played this. Now you're being critical of it. It's not that bad. This is actually pretty serviceable to get you to the next awesome set piece, right? So for me, it like so far I have had zero issues playing this game. I love it. My only problem is life keeps happening, not allowing me to continue playing this game. What do you think, sir? What has your experience so far been?
There's a little bit of that last gen peeking through, like sliding through a corner to handle loading.
Yes. The what do they call them? The cave crawling. Yes.
Yeah. I love it when they just put something you got to shimmy through for no reason.
For no reason. Yes. And by the way, so that people know this, that is so that they load more of the world, right? It's an open world or seemingly open world, and how they hide the seams is they have you shimmy through, and while you're shimmying, it throws away all the stuff you've seen out of memory, and then loads what you're about to see into memory. So it kind of keeps it seamless. But yes, at any and all times you see yourself shimmying through a rock, shimmying through a cave, going underneath something all quiet with nothing around you. Yeah, they're loading one and they're getting rid of one and loading the next. And that's literally every single game. This is no different. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm really happy to see IO Interactive be able to handle like the set pieces that they do in this game, because it just tells me the things that they do in the future will have even more production value and depth. And I hear they're working on like a fantasy RPG as one of their upcoming projects. So
sounds like something you're into.
Exactly. Add this, as long as they're not using wands, sword and board,
or Americans, right?
They gotta look. But again, I'm really happy for IO Interactive. I see Amazon's playing a little bit fast and loose about the sequel, but I think that's a negotiation tactic.
Yeah.
But I will say, and again, this is very early on, so I might come to you next week and say something different. But from what little I've played, this feels like the best, like the definitive Bond gaming experience.
Yep.
And I know people were worried about that. They were like, "Oh, he looks too young." But I'm like, they scar up his face in the opening, in the tutorial level, right?
Yeah. What do you think of that? I thought that was super interesting. Like,
it's not like the modern audiences kind of thing that people cry about. So like, I think they did the character justice. They didn't make him, not who he was. If that makes any sense. And I love the Idris Elba quote, like, you don't have to fix Bond. He is who he is, right?
He is who he is. That's right.
He's a womanizer. Right. He's a secret agent. He gets the job done. And that's just who his character is. And there may be other 00 agents that have different characteristics, but Bond is Bond. And you don't need to change that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I don't.
And by the way,
this is a good.
There you go. Yes. That is a thing that a lot of people were complaining about or potentially worried about. Like, hey, will this be watered down Bond? I won't even use the words because the words aren't accurate that people use. But is this a watered down Bond, or is this like Bond that we know? Happy to report, all signs point to yes. It is the Bond we know. Now again. Everborn is early. I'm early, so maybe it changes up. But so far, everything I've heard, from folks who have played it to its fruition, it's a pretty decent game. I see the Great Black Skeleton in the house. Shout out to you, good sir. Appreciate you being here. He brings forth an interesting talking point. 007 was great. A little expensive for the hours of playtime, but really great. What do you think to that? What are the hours of playtime? I don't even know what the playtime is supposed to be. Well, but what do you think the playtime should be for a game like that?
Because I didn't pay $70 for it. So you got man gaming, baby. Deals that to
let's see how long to beat. Let's see how long it is to beat this game. It says it's about 13 to 15 hours for the missions if you skip the challenges and collectibles. About 15 to 20 hours for a standard run through, and the completionist run is about 20 hours max. So 20 hours max, is that worth the seeming full price of it? What do you think, Everborn Side?
Time is money. I like games that respect my time. I don't need filler. I don't need fetch quests. I don't need any of that. Tell me the story you're trying to tell. Give me all the great gameplay elements. Throw me the set pieces. Respect my time, and I don't care about if I got to give you the right amount of money, because I'd rather pay people that are gonna not waste my time. I'll pay a premium for that, but that's me.
I feel you. Skeleton also says, man, I wish that Idris would have gotten the Bond role. This game gives us some hope. What do I mean by that? I am waiting for the mod to put Idris in it. Heck, give me AI, change his voice. I want to put Idris Elba in this game, and I think that's possible. Everybody who wants that Bond role for Idris probably won't get it in real life because he's kind of moved on from it. But here's the definitive Bond experience. I wouldn't do it when he's early in, but like later on, in the game when he's all student booted, ready to go, I would literally change that character and make it Idris and play that. I mean, isn't there already an Idris asset out there available via what do you call it? Cyberpunk, right? Totally make this. Totally make it happen.
People are not gonna like when I say this, but
go ahead.
I would rather, if Idris is gonna join the Bond universe,
you'd rather he be someone else than 007.
I don't need to, make him 009, 00, whatever you want. You can make him better than Bond if you want, but don't make him 007. I don't need it. I don't. You know what I'll say? I don't need us to jump into their shoes. I think we have our own shoes to fill, and these universes are big enough that people can play their own parts and let if you want to bring Idris into the Bond universe, you can do that. You can give him his own movie. There's no needs to do that kind of swap, whatever. I'm not into it.
Shout out to the great Lucius Augustus for coming in this morning with some fire.
Listen. Okay, he wants to say that. You know what? Now we're gonna get spicy.
Oh God.
Listen, here's the thing. I'm not a fan of sloppy seconds and leftovers.
Oh man.
Okay? I think that we have enough characters that are interesting enough that we don't have to jump into somebody else's character to try to win some favor off of their name. Okay, and I'm not going to be doing this little seal clap, and I'm not saying that that's what you're doing, Lucius, but it's a lot of this seal clap to say, oh, I feel seen. I already feel seen, and I don't need to pretend that I'm somebody else to feel seen. So there's so many interesting black and brown characters already, and people are too lazy to put the work into those. So they want to get the traffic of the grifters who are going to be super mad at this stuff, and then get the other people who need the validation. And I just don't feel like that is the way to do these.
Well,
things,
so Everboard Saga, I will push back on one piece you just said here. I don't think there's only two demographics. There's more than that. It's not just the people who need validation and the grifters. There are people who are genuinely in the middle who would be like happy to see a great character with a great actor. Because this thing has changed hands enough times, people would love to see their favorite actor also get a turn. It may not be grifty or validation seeking.
I would love to see Idris Elba in the Bond universe, and I don't know why he has to be. I'm not saying you're saying that. Why does that mean he has to be 007? He can be someone else in that same universe. He could meet up with Bond. He could beat Bond. He could do whatever you want.
Shout out to Neo Mental. Yes, you come for Saturday morning cartoons, you stay for church. That's what we do right here. But yes.
This is my thing. And again, I just get frustrated with these things because there's so many dope black characters out there. And we've seen it. It's not just T'Challa, right? You see it. You do that justice, and that'll make you $1 billion, right? You just have to do it justice and put the same level of effort that you did into building these other characters. I'm just saying I don't need it, and
I feel you, sir. But needless to say,
also that being said, here's my out. That's how I feel about main characters. I think you can race swap a sub character if the actor is good.
Okay.
But main characters, the headline character of whatever you're going to see, I don't think you should change those. But their sidekicks, their ancillary people, I don't have an issue if the actor is good. That's all I ask.
I feel you on that. But I think we can agree that as a product on its own, this 007 game, at least at the jump of it, seems to really, really hit the marks here. It looks like it's really cool. Looks like it'll be something that people will continue to be talking about at the end of the year, potentially. Even though, yes, this is all before the September comes out and becomes a huge crush, and we might forget all this crap. We might forget all of this. Oh, you said I and then went on mute, sir.
My bad. I was saying I don't want to take the show to that level, and I don't want to butcher this person's names. I'm not even gonna try. Conversation about race swaps always get funny when the greatest race swap ever always gets glossed over. Jesus Christ.
Oh boy, sir, that is solely a Discord conversation, but I allow it. That's good. That's a good one. That's a good one. But yes, if you all want to continue talking about that, discord.gg/tgcp, we will gladly continue down that line. But we're moving swiftly along because it's a gaming conversation.
I will also say I keep it consistent. I don't like that race swap either.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. No doubt. No doubt. But yes, that is probably the best race swap of all of them. If you ever talk about it, yes. Oh, and I see the great Neo Mental here also weighing in. He says, I don't need Bond to be black, just world accurate. I want diverse characters, not race swapping, because that's a two-way street. Absolutely. I think we can all agree with that one. By the way, Neo Mental, join us on the Discord, bro. I feel you would thrive there because there's a lot of smoke and you would be able to, roll with the punches, as it were. Discord.gg/tgcp, sir. Join us. That'd be fantastic. But anyway, anything else you want to talk about as far as Bond before we move on to the last game in this list?
I'm very excited to play it. From the opening mission that I played in the beginning of the next piece of it, like, I didn't want to put the controller down, and the only reason I even tried another game is because I had pre-purchased it many months ago and was very excited for it. But I do really want to finish it, and I have not been bored with it yet. So I'm very excited about it.
Very cool, sir. Let's see. Oh, because he continues, we appreciate him being here. Lucius Augustus for the $5. He says, it's not 007, but if you want something that's in the same-ish vein, check out Lupin, the French show on Netflix, with a black man playing the notorious thief.
I've actually
one of the best shows. Yeah, I love that show. I love that
season of it.
Watch season 2.
It's
Watch season 2.
Really interesting heist plot. And the race swap didn't bother me because I knew of Lupin from an anime, which was also a race swap, making it amazing. So anyway, but no, it is a really
Lupin is one of the best shows with like that actor, French actor, great actor. Anything he's in, he elevates it, and this he elevates as well. A very, very cool show. Good call out there, Lucius. That's really cool. I'm surprised we haven't brought up Lupin, that show on this show before. I've always loved watching those, So anybody who hasn't checked it out, you definitely need to. Let's see. Would you mind grabbing that last link that I put in the chat for us, and then we'll get that out of the way, and then we'll get into the news stories of the day, and we'll see where that goes, sure. But yes, I appreciate you, sir. And just so you guys understand, like I said last week, because the news gods are what the news gods are, we ended up putting a lot of the stuff in the back, and I wanted to put it on Front Street as far as the show is concerned. There are lots of really, really interesting, amazing games right now that are in demo form. So that means Everborn Saga is not about it. That is fine. But for those of you who happen to have gotten your hands on your Ally X's and all of that, and you used to be jealous of the Next Fest that was out there and all this other fun stuff, you now can be a part of Next Fest. It is happening right now. Right now, a bunch of games, bunch of stuff that you saw at the PlayStation Showcase, at the Xbox Showcase, at Summer Games Fest, all of them, well, not all, but a lot of them are playable in demo form on your handheld. And this, I spoke about last week. I'm speaking about it again because, man, I love this game. It's in demo form now. You can actually play it yourself. It is Screenbound. I played this. I talked about this before last week, but we talked about it lightly at the end. And I want more people to pay attention to this game. Very simple concept. Everborn Saga, I need you to pay attention to the concept. It is so cool. I love this thing. I've been playing it. If you happen to watch Mr. Boomstick's show on Wednesday, you'll see Kay Asante was heads down the whole damn show. Why? Because he was playing Screenbound while the conversation was happening. He had his handheld in his hand and he was playing Screenbound. This game is epic. Give you a quick synopsis. As you can see, you have your Q-Boy, not your Game Boy, your Q-Boy in your hand, right? And in your Q-Boy, there's a game happening on the screen in 2D fashion. and you're walking around the 3D space. And what you do in the 2D space also affects the 3D space and vice versa. So all you're doing is traversing the various worlds, and you can literally like decide. And sometimes it's better to pay attention to the 2D space because it helps you like get past the secrets, and there's secrets to be seen there.
I'm
or sometimes
just
it helps.
thinking of the math of coding this, and it would
Bro,
break my brain.
Sir, I am actively trying to get the dev on the show. I've been in communications with their PR team. Like the dev was like super excited by how much I was geeking out on this thing. I saw him twice. I saw him at IGN Live, and then again at Xbox. And both times I was like, bro, I need to play this again. So he's like, I love this game. I love this game. So like, I'm hoping to get him on the show. Like he calls it a 5D game, but it is brain breaking. Just watching it and playing it is brain breaking because you have to be in constant, like, you have to pay attention to, like exactly the world. Oh, you have something on the screen there. If you pay attention to it, you see what's he can't traverse because it's too high. But if you look at the 2D world, it gives you the tip to be able to get past the 3D-ness. It is very cool, like super interesting for us, graybeards, and for us inspiring developers and all that. Super interesting, the process and the concepts that they have going on here. It is free right now on Next Fest to try out. I see some folks in the chat who've pointed out this, and yes, you guys see me. I feel seen right now. One of my favorite games of all time is Fez. Of all time, I have indoctrinated both of my children. I think Fez is like legendary fare, and this speaks a lot to Fez. So those of you who've caught that, yes, go ahead.
Okay, there's another thing that I want to talk about, and I'm actually gonna show you guys something that's very interesting. So we always talk about generative AI a lot, and a lot of people,
yes, we do,
are really against it, right? And my thing has always been there shouldn't be a blanket statement of being against anything. You got to look at it within context, right? You got to look at this thing. Is it taking jobs? Is it creating slop, right? And so, and a lot of people get into what Microsoft is doing in these things like that.
Yuzu has already started boot on next.
This is what I mean. Like, right? So you guys know that
and by the way, just so we understand real quick, Yuzu is an artist. He spends a lot of time drawing his art. He's an artist. So understand where he's coming from with that. If you hand me AI music, I will be quite upset, even though I can acknowledge that some of it is good. I can't be cool with it because I make music and I've made music most of my life. So I understand where Yuzu's coming from. Continue, sir.
So there are, in my opinion, actual good uses that can help, and I'm going to show you guys one in a second, right?
Okay.
And so you guys know that I was a longtime Windows Phone developer. I've released 3 games on that platform. That platform went away, and because of that kind of led me into the comic book journey to continue the story of the characters that I created in my games. And Windows Phone used a framework called XNA, which has since been deprecated by Microsoft, but it's now sort of open source. There's an open source version of it called Monogame, who we did, maybe we still will try to get some of the people that maintain that framework. And you all know Monogame if you've played Streets of Rage 4 or Celeste, and I think Stardew Valley. I think Stardew Valley is also Monogame, right? Which is, again, open source version of XNA, which is what you use to develop on the Windows Phone, but also in the Xbox 360 live arcade days. That's the framework they use. Anyway, my game that released over a decade ago, Ariel's World, which turned into Ariel's Adventure, which turned into the Everborn comics and all that. I have been trying to port that over to current mobile devices and PC just to give away for free, just so it has a place to live. But there's been so much that that I just couldn't figure out. Like there's systems that were deprecated, like particle systems that Monogame has not replaced or changed the way you do it. And so the game was basically hard coded for a specific piece of hardware and porting it to a completely different platform with all manner of variable specs was just a gargantuan task. But I've been using GitHub Copilot to help me port the game. Now, again, this is my code. I wrote every line of it, but now I'm trying to port it, and that requires a lot of rebuilding libraries and things like that. And so I've been using GitHub Copilot to help me port. Now, to give you an example, the Windows Phone was 800 by 480. Like that was the aspect ratio that you had to work within because all the phones were that size. But if I wanted to bring this to PC, I need it to be display agnostic, right? I need the frame rate to be not locked to 30 FPS because you're not playing on a phone from 2015.
So basically what you're saying is you're building it now not tied to one specific platform, but able to be playable and dynamic to whatever screen you happen to play it on,
right?
Mobile, console, wherever. It should just be playable.
Okay. Right. And I'm a solo developer. This is all my code. So I do know how to talk to the generative AI, and I know where to tell it to focus. So that is like, you're not replacing the developer here, but it is actually allowing me, a solo developer, to be able to port this thing to platforms it was not intended or coded to run on. So what I'm going to show you is Ariel's World running on PC with a controller. By the way, this game was all designed for touch input. So let's see what we get.
Pop it up. Let's take a look, and then we'll read the great super. Actually, you know what? While you're doing that, let me read that super chat from Slow-Mo Backslap. The great Slow-Mo Backslap, who's here with a $10 super chat. He says, "How AI has been used presently in the industry is fine. Assets that get replaced before launch, bug testing, etc. When you start using AI to write stories, create art/music, my guns clear the holster." There you go. How do you feel about that, everyone, Saga? I understand that, like as Slow-Mo has been pointing out, historically it's used for QA testing, it's used for beta, it's used for all that kind of stuff that helps get the job done easier. What happens when it traverses that divide and becomes the way people put out content? When that's the art asset you see or whatever, does that change the equation for you?
Well, yes, and this is where I would agree. I'm not in favor of it replacing artists and art assets. I'm not even in favor of it replacing jobs, but I do believe it can help. I believe it can help in the prototyping phase where you have a creator that's trying to express an idea to an artist for them to go and do something. It like I said, it's helping me port this thing, and I believe that it can be used for good, and I'm giving a personal example of this, right?
Yeah, go for it. Let's take a look.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna have to stop sharing and then share again because
okay. Shout out to Everborn Saga's awesome wallpaper. The Everborn Saga. Go ahead. All right.
Let's see. I'm sharing the screen again.
Okay. Let's see if we can do that. And by the way, for those who are asking, we will talk about the co-founder of Ubi unfortunately passing. We will talk about the requirements of Halo CE. We'll talk about that. After we get down here, we'll go in that direction. So shout out to y'all. We'll get in there. Go ahead, everyone. Let's see what you got.
All right. So now, is it moving for you guys?
It is not moving for us. It just says play. It's stuck.
Yeah, I don't think.
What you may want to do. Have you done the whole share the entire screen? Because on your screen it is moving.
Yeah.
That means that Copilot. That means that
the AI is getting us.
No. This is most likely something to do with StreamYard. There's a way they have this either capture just the screen versus capture
All right,
the app.
let me try the other way.
Yeah, I see the screen now. Is it moving? Because it's not moving here. It gets stuck, but it's not moving. Yep.
So we're gonna try it again, but I'm gonna try to just share the app.
Okay.
All right, keep the people entertained while I do this.
Yeah. No worries. Of course. I'm actually reading through a lot of these a lot of folks' chats and whatnot. I think you struck a chord with the whole AI thing. Some folks are okay with it. Others are like literally upset by the idea that AI will most likely replace us. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that, like you, there are uses for it, but I do see where some folks come from. Users talk about it's about laziness and not like using the tool and not doing it the way it's supposed to be done. I feel like all debate is fair right now in that realm, because it's still early days, and if you don't keep boot on neck, corporate will just default to moving everybody in that direction because it's cheap. Cheaper than people, clearly. So I hear what you're saying.
All right, I don't think it's gonna let me because
for some reason it's not doing it.
The still screen, it won't take the.
You know what you can do for us?
Yeah.
How about you do a screen record and then we can put it out later on the channel, just to show people what your updates are, what it looks like now. Clearly this is original code from the Windows Phone version that you've been able to run on PC. Let's give us, if you are able to record it at some point, then I'll upload it and let people do it.
We'll do live screen shares in the Discord.
Okay. There you go.
We won't have this problem there.
Yeah. Wow. Rodimus, that is not true, sir. He says, and if AI will replace everyone as a co-host on GCP if K has his way. Absolutely not, sir. Absolutely not. What are we talking about right now?
I don't know. Maybe you got a signal to investors. You can bring the
oh my God! Stop it.
Capital expenditures down. You know what I'm saying?
Stop it, sir.
But so anyway, my point is, it would only take still frames, but it's moving on my screen. But the point is, I'm able to get this thing running, controller support, monitor agnostic, all these things that we're doing today. And this is not replacing any job. It is not, and I'm going to redo the art to pixel art. So whatever. But the point is, it's allowing a project to come out, and that's not a bad thing. Keep the people company. I got to take this call.
Okay, no worries. So with that in mind, I will say, honestly, and I would once again ask y'all to join us on the Discord, because these are conversations we have on a daily basis about whether gaming should be okay with AI augmenting their tools, right? I personally think this is a conversation that is worth having. I don't think AI should be thrown away with the bathwater, as some people would like it to be, because it does encroach on some livelihoods. I think this is like anything else, right? But before, we used to have to put our stuff in the back of a horse and buggy and expect it to get to its destination in 30 some odd days, if not longer, if you have to take a boat and this, that, and the third. And then planes showed up and cars showed up to optimize that. Obviously, during that transition, there probably was a lot of conversation by the horse and buggy owners and by the way life needed to move forward, right? There was a lot of smoke there, but clearly, that needs to be worked out, right? We shouldn't be moving tools away just solely for the purpose of keeping status quo. If there's optimizations in the future to be had, I do think that it is a worthwhile venture. I also appreciate the fact that the human element is also kept front and center, right? Because I'm the AI, not AI, but I'm the technology guy. I'm always about the newest, latest, best, as it were. But at the end of the day, I don't think that we should move sole focus into that future without thinking of humans and what that will mean for them, right? So for me, there is no one way to go, like solely. I don't fall on one side. I fall on both, depending on the type of scenario. So it is what it is. But yeah, that's what we think about it as far as AI is concerned. Before everyone rejoins us, I will once again reiterate, thank you all so much for being here as you do. My audio is terrible right now, but that's because I am away from my home office and my beautiful mic and my studio equipment. So we're doing this from a mobile mobile workstation, if you will, and it's not perfect, but the show must go on. I've tried to do my best to clean up the audio a little bit. So thank you guys so much for your understanding. If you haven't done so already, please hit that like button. Let the algorithm know that you appreciate what we do here. If you happen to be on X or any of those other places, how about share and let other folks know that we're doing this show, because that algorithm needs to be fed. Oh yeah, that's one thing that Lucius reminded me of last week, which I should also mention. In the YouTube these days, in order to get that algorithm really like recognizing what we're doing here, there's a hype button underneath it, underneath the video. It doesn't cost you anything, but you hit that hype button and it reminds people, or it lets the algorithm know that, hey, this is something that other people are hyped about, and I guess it brings it to more people's attention. So if you have not done so, please do us the favor and hit that hype button underneath your screen there. And yeah, we appreciate you guys always continuing to show us all the support. Everborn, have you returned, or shall we move on to the next topic, sir? He has not. Oh, he is here. He has returned. Fantastic. So I think it's a new story that just came out like literally a few minutes ago. I will put, if you check the private chat, I will put the article link to it there so you can have access to it. And what am I talking about? This is, let's see, one of the Guillemot family, unfortunately, a co-founder of the Ubisoft, who unfortunately has passed away at 69 due to a car crash, a plane crash, actually. I don't know if you've heard about this. This literally just like broke a few, I don't know, yesterday, it broke a few hours ago, this happened. But yeah, it's just something worth mentioning in gaming. Say what you will about Ubi and where they are today, but no one can deny that their effect on gaming writ large is very, very substantial, has been substantial, and in no small way, this gentleman was also responsible for where we are in gaming. So it is a sad state to hear that the man has passed away, and in such an unfortunate manner as well. So if you see the link, I don't know if you're here, everyone. The very last link I put in the private DMs shows an image of him and some of the story. Are you there? Ooh, I don't know if everyone is still here. Testing 1 2, sir. Did I lose you? This is what we're doing here. We're doing it live.
No. You did not lose me. I'm just trying to manage the windows, and then when I'm on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, this is what we do. This when we're mobile, it doesn't work as well. Forgive us. When it's mobile, it doesn't work as well. Forgive us.
Share the screen. I don't know why. I think it's a Visual Studio Code thing where, like, when you're running the application, it doesn't allow you to share whatever. Even though I'm just blanketly sharing the screen, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's probably something to do with security. They don't want you to see that stuff. Yes. That might be a thing. So yeah, what's the gentleman's name? Claude Guillemot. Which is, I guess, Yves' brother, because Yves Guillemot is the main co-owner of Ubi. His brother, Claude.
You lose case.
Oh, I'm here. You lost me. I'm here. Oh, testing 1 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Testing 1 2.
No, we hear you now.
Okay. Forgive us. Yeah. So it seems that he passed, unfortunately, a couple. What was it? Yesterday, 2 days ago. Plane crash. These things happen. Well, not generally, but unfortunately, this is one of those factors that happen from time to time. And yeah, I feel like if nothing else,
what kind of plane was it? Do we know?
Let me see here. I'll skim through this really quickly to see if they mention the type of plane it was. I don't think they do. They spend, and this is a Bloomberg source, they spent a lot of time talking about his contributions and what he did for all the stuff not just gaming as well. He was like behind Thrustmaster, if you remember Thrustmaster, the PC brand that does controllers and handhelds and stuff. He's been part of PC hardware, sound cards, and DJ equipment, all this stuff. Like, these people have their hands in lots of different pies, and yeah, it seems that unfortunately it did not work out. He didn't make it through his last flight. It doesn't mention his at least in this article it doesn't mention it.
It was like I've been on a helicopter before. I will not go again, and not because I was afraid while I was on it. It was one of those things where I've developed a fear after the fact, because I hear all these things about helicopter rides,
horror stories.
Yeah. So I've done it before. I've taken the missus on her birthday on a helicopter ride over the city. It's off the bucket list. I'm not doing it again.
It's some scary stuff. Yeah.
So so that sucks. I'm sorry for his family.
It is. Isn't this the second time we're hearing this? The last one was a car crash by the illustrious I forget the gentleman also working at EA who's helping Vince Zampella. Yes,
that was different because they were like in a Ferrari speeding out of a curved tunnel, which again, I'm sorry it happened, and I know it's a tremendous loss, but like I hate seeing stuff happen like that for avoidable reasons.
Yeah, it's true.
You going in a plane crash, that's not on you.
You're not. That's right. That's just it is what it is.
Pilot, whatever. Yeah. Speeding at 100 miles an hour in a tunnel where you can't see when you're coming out sucks. And
indeed,
it's for no reason. Hey, just to finish off my point on the other thing, I wish I could have showed you guys demo, but we will.
Please,
we will demo it on Discord. The point that I was making is, these things are all how you use it, and it doesn't have to replace jobs. It could actually help someone move faster or move along and solve a problem that they couldn't solve on their own, and it could actually get you a product. And again, this is not, we're talking about something that it's not AI slop. This is a literal game that I released a decade ago, and now I'm going to be
Hey, hold on now. Yuzu is saying, and I will have to say, I'll agree with Yuzu. If you didn't have this tool, you would have probably gone to one of these grifters who would then charge you X amount of money in order to do the porting for you. So this is taking jobs from some grifters' hands. Just saying.
No, but here's the thing. I wouldn't. That's the thing. That's why it's been a decade, and you guys can't just like have this game and it lives on my hard drive, right? That's the whole point. So I'm just being slanderous. I'm being slanderous. I don't pay people to come in my house and fix the sink because I'm a man and I will do it myself. I'm not gonna pay anybody to come do some coding for me. And I'm a software engineer. It's just that I don't got the time to do it. And this is allowing me to do that. And guess what? It's allowing me to hire now an artist so I can redraw all of the assets in the game to be like pixel art, so it makes sense with the sort of rudimentary game style. So this is actually going to get some artists employed, because on the coding side now, I have the stuff that I needed that I couldn't really figure out on my own, or I could, but it would take me so long that I wouldn't do it. So again, this is helping a solo developer. It is getting a game out to people, and it's going to lead to artists being hired for asset creation. And this otherwise was something that was staying stagnant. So it doesn't have to be AI slop or taking an artist's job. And this is all I'm saying. So I just wish that we could talk about this sometimes with a little bit more nuance than AI bad because we saw the Animatrix. You know what I mean?
Because we saw the Animatrix. This guy. That last part is what killed it for you. But okay, continue. So all right. You're not wrong. I think we should continue to talk about it. Again, discord.gg/The Gaming Circle Podcast, GCP, right? Listen, or you could have hired a coder. Just say.
Yeah, well.
See? What I'm talking about.
Not everybody got the money for that, so.
You know, it is what it is. This is a conversation that, and I'm making fun right now. Not, it's not just Yuzu who has a problem with it. Lucius has a problem with it. A lot of people have problems with it, right? And these are the conversations that I think are worth having.
Yuzu, instead of driving to work or to the supermarket or wherever, you could hire a horse and buggy.
Oh,
right?
Stop that.
You could do that.
Stop that. Actually, now that'd be super expensive because the horse and buggies aren't the norm.
No. But it's still somebody you could have hired instead of using automation.
Yeah, that's true. Stop it. Anyway, would you, sir, please do me the favor of hitting that link of the next that's in the bottom there on the screen. You don't even have to take away the screen share you have. It should just adapt to the existing screen share. I just put one at the bottom there. It is an X link from the one Wario 64 because it pulls out a very key part of the conversation that I think we should have next, related to Halo and some of its requirements. I don't know if you saw all this, but it brings up some interesting conversation. Shout out to MJ Dark. He sent me the link this morning and said, "Hey, we should talk about this." And yeah, I agree.
What is this thing? What are we,
in the private chat where the other link was? I've added the X link there. Just click on it and it should pop up. Let's see here, and basically to give people the preamble as to what it is. Pop that up there. Yeah, what it is, and you can like zoom all the way in to see it. So maximize that, please. Yes, you can zoom in. What is it? Shift and then Control. There you go. Excellent. Thank you. So basically, this is the requirements for Halo Campaign Evolve split screen.
Oh, okay. I know what this is. All right.
Have you seen this?
Yes, I've seen it. Last thing I will say, and we'll end the AI conversation.
Sure.
This helping me move the project to the next level allows me to have the money to now
hire someone else.
Hire an artist. So an artist is getting work because of this. But if you want to take the blanket statement, maybe I just shouldn't hire the artist. But anyway,
stop hating on Yuzu. Stop hating on Yuzu.
Yuzu's doing his contrarian thing again. The Discord.
All right. So what's happening right now is with Halo Campaign Evolved coming out soon, obviously on PlayStation as well as many other platforms, Steam and all that. Right. Obviously, Wario 64 here points out specifically what's going on PlayStation, but frankly, it happens everywhere, right? So what's happening? They're talking about split screen. If you want to play split screen, like what do you have to do, right? In the past, long time ago, as long as one
we're talking about, right?
Couch co-op we're talking about, yes.
Okay.
Couch co-op. A long time ago, when you wanted to play couch co-op, one person had to have an account. Right? And this is the 360 onwards generation. Before then, of course, you didn't even need an account because it wasn't really like so deep to be net connected like that, right? Only for the multiplayer. But now, right, one person used to have an online account, and then if you wanted to play couch co-op, you could literally just start another account, and it'd be like a guest of the first account, and then both could play local co-op. It seems that has changed. So. How do they do split screen right now? And of course, Wario 64 points out on PS5. Both accounts will need to have a PlayStation 5 Plus because that's what they need to get you online, and be linked to a Microsoft account because that's what Microsoft needs to get you online. Right? Having these active PlayStation Plus subscriptions will also provide access to online co-op play. So whether it's online or offline, the Xbox Live account or the Xbox Microsoft account is a requirement now, and of course, so too is PlayStation subscription of their subplay. So it has to be a unique account for each individual, and that's brought about a bit of smoke, right? So, what do you think of this?
Yeah. So just so we understand, so what we're talking about is couch co-op, and this works
couch co-op, yes,
without requiring a Game Pass subscription, because those are the only subscriptions you can get now and get in on Xbox side, right? Mm-hmm. There's no more Xbox Live, so you have to have a Game Pass subscription if you want to play online. However, if you want to play couch co-op, you just need two people with Microsoft accounts.
Yep.
Right. On the PlayStation side, because this game requires you to sign in to your Microsoft account, right?
Which is an online thing. PlayStation also requires theirs
as a non-free-to-play game.
Yep.
Right? And because it's not free to play and it requires an online account, they're saying this qualifies for a PSN Plus account. And so it's something in their system that is triggering this through some loophole of, well, you do have to sign into some other person's service, and therefore you have to pay
you have to pay us to get out of the tunnel and then pay them to use their services.
Yeah, I think this is just an unfortunate loophole in the way PlayStation's policy works versus their PlayStation or Sony was specifically like, if you want to play couch co-op, you got to pay us the subscription. I just think because of just the way they have it set up, this is an unfortunate thing. And hopefully if enough people complain, well, first of all, they should pull this game off the platform. This is just another example of why Halo should not be on PlayStation. And if you decide to buy it there, then you deserve it. No, okay.
There he goes. There he goes.
I was actually half serious, but
I know you were.
I think if enough people complain.
By the way, while you're on your rant, go back to that private link and then click that next one, because it gives you a one higher level, and the one higher level. Go back to that private chat and click that. I should be fair and honest and say MJ sent me the link this way, but I gave it the lower level just to get the story out of the way first, and then we'll get the higher level part done. Now, how MJ sent this to me was because he obviously received this news through the great Danny Pena, and it looks like he had some stuff to say about it as well. He's saying, why make it difficult to play local co-op split screen? I don't remember paying for an online subscription just to play split screen on the Xbox with my friends and family and friends. I'm all about giving people easy access to games. I love Halo, but this isn't it.
You know what else? You know what else I don't remember? Playing a Halo game on a PlayStation. Pull the port. No. Okay. Well, actually, not. No, they should pull the port.
This guy.
I guess
yes.
It sucks to suck. I don't know. I'm not talking about Danny. I'm talking about the people that don't just get an Xbox if they want to play.
Yeah. And I think the reason why this was brought up is because there's a lot of interesting back and forth in the comments about this, and I do think it is ripe for debate and ripe for conversation. Like one of the comments here says, maybe the media should investigate whether this is a Sony policy rather than a publisher issue. If these restrictions come from Sony's platform requirements, then the pressure should be on Sony to improve them, which is. I actually think it feels
like it's more of an oversight and a loophole, and I think it's something that they can fix. On this serious note,
no, seriously, yeah, absolutely. I think, like, frankly, it's not a good look. It really isn't. It shouldn't be so many hoops to jump through in order to get this. Right? It's already there. Again, to me, like, I hear you, everyone. Don't put on platform, blah, blah, blah. The ship has sailed on that one, right? So if it is going to be here, it should at least be playable in the best way possible.
But that's why it shouldn't be there. This is what they call, and Soil Tech, you'll know what I mean, fruit of the poisonous tree. If you didn't do the original bad thing, all the
additional bad things wouldn't work. That's right. Lucius, in his slanderous bag with $2, he says, notice how he avoided saying Sony in that tweet.
Right. Forget about that. See, I don't know how to pronounce this name. I'm not gonna do it.
Sapporo?
I'm not gonna do it.
Sappho?
Yeah. I don't even know. I don't even know what that avatar is, sir. But you are right. I blame Xbox for it. It shouldn't be on PlayStation. Exactly. Yeah. This is all Xbox fault, and they should be.
Oh boy, there you go. It is what it is, sir. Yes. Forgive us, the ESAT, one console warrior to another. Lon, that would be console warrior. Anyway. So, I think it's a bad look, genuinely. I think it's a bad look. They should at least do their best to kind of, streamline the process a bit. But if it is a PlayStation thing, hopefully they work with them. If it's not, hey, what are you going to do? It is what it is. With that in mind, Shall we head into Xbox territory? I know there's a lot of rumor and speculation. Let's have that conversation, because I think a lot of tea has been spilled, but we have not spoken about it. I haven't even heard you speak about it in general. How about you lead this one? And
okay, well, actually, I think the PlayStation stuff is shorter.
Okay,
I think we should do that.
Okay.
Just go over that in a few minutes, and
take
the the remainder of the show to talk about the Xbox.
Sure. So, if I recall correctly, and I'll pull up some articles and I'll send them to you momentarily. But basically, Nishino had an interview recently that pseudo confirmed.
It
And I
did
say
no
pseudo
such thing, and people
I said
are
pseudo.
explicitly leaving out the first 3 sentences because they're in their fields. But that's what we're here to talk about today.
Exactly. Yeah. Find me the article. I'm looking for it as well. But I say pseudo confirmed because it did confirm that they were reevaluating the how. Well, let me land the plane, sir. Let me land the plane. He confirmed that they were reevaluating their strategies, but ultimately, what he said was literally word for word what Phil Spencer said, which was, "Hey, multiplats, and I'll give you the TLDR. You can give."
You mean Matthew Ball?
No. I'll say Phil Spencer because Phil Spencer said this as well. Phil Spencer, Phil Spencer. He said this as well, and he was tarred and feathered a long time ago for it. Multiplat or live service games everywhere, right? But the single player, the stat, case by case. That is what Nishino has said. TLDR. Give us the quote, sir. All right, and I will put it on the screen here if I can.
If you can.
I'm not going to do that because you're still sharing. We don't want to do that. Go ahead.
Get out
of Apology. Yes. Go ahead. You right. start it up. Yeah.
All right. So let me read you the exact quote. All right. So the question was, there have been reports suggesting that you might reconsider bringing PS5 titles to PC. Could you share your current thoughts on this? Now, let's be clear. This is a Famitsu. This is a Famitsu interview. It's all in Japanese, and it has been translated. So we're dealing with a translation that was done by none other than AI, right? But let us read the answer and this is what everyone's quoting. So if everybody can quote the second half of his answer, we can quote the first half. Now,
okay.
Do you have any of the tweets that
I do? I have Genki's long tweet, which shows like PlayStation CEO on releasing PlayStation 5 on PC for the determining all that. I can send you that.
What I want to highlight before I read the whole thing is how people are selectively clipping the answer.
Okay, so
to get something vague enough to confirm their preconceived notion.
in the tweet in the chat right now, in the private chat right now is Genki's tweet, and I'll see if I can find more. But basically, they're pulling out quotes from the interview that has been translated and giving you quotes from that. So what I just sent you right now is one that has made the rounds. I think it's almost 300,000 views right now.
Give me another one.
I'll give you another one.
Yeah.
So CEO,
I think he actually tried to do a good job and get some of the beginning part of it.
Okay, so I'll look up some of the tweets that have gone there. There's Nishino. Here we go. All right, so here's another one.
Clobriel. You can do anybody else.
Okay. Let's do Clobriel. But please, like while I look it up, tell the fine people what the thoughts are here on this.
So he was asked the question, and his answer to this was, we've always determined platform selection based on the characteristics of each title. If releasing a title on PC would maximize the gaming experience, we'll continue to consider that option. Now, everyone left that part out, but then they went on to our current main policy is that for single player games developed in-house, we will further refine the value of gaming experience that PlayStation can offer. That is it. That's what they're hanging their hat on. And
I see what you mean. At the same
time, we believe it is important for live service games to reach a wider audience through online multiplayer. So we will continue to review releases on both PS5 and PC as the standard. What that says is PC day and date. It does not say.
So I put the Clobriel tweet in the DMs if you want to pop that up as well.
Right.
That is not in the DMs. Yeah.
It says regardless of platform. This is the other part they leave out. Regardless of platform, we will make decisions based on the principle of delivering the best possible gaming experience that maximizes each title's unique features. That's now again, anybody who is I don't know, an exclusive warrior or because they're trying to make a point about the importance of exclusives, which I am not negating, but I am saying they're trying to use a selective part of this quote to validate another point they are trying to make. Whether you agree with that point or not, you cannot just say, because this is the quote that everybody used and is the only sentence they took. For in-house single-player games, we will further refine the value of the gaming experience that PlayStation can offer. At the same time, we believe it is important for live service games to reach a wider audience.
Now, everyone, one thing though, let us not give up. I'm not here to give smoke to Cloveril. I think Cloveril does great work for the community. This is not necessarily to him, but scroll down to the very first reply there underneath it, if you see it. I'll tell you what that first reply was. You scroll down, the first tweet, it's hilarious because he types it and says, yes, logical path. And then abstract concept, if you know abstract concept, he says it's case by case, but told in ambiguous pony language. He was asked a straight question about Schreier's report that they pulled off releasing releasing games on PC, and then he clicked the link and highlighted it. Like everyone is making that point as well. So, it does seem like they seem to be basically doing exactly what Xbox is doing, right? Evaluating their games, right? Recognizing that case by case is the way to go. Now, I guess the point here is, do you see this where PlayStation puts, I don't know, Soros on PC? Because I think Soros do so well on console, and Returnal did great on PC.
I have a knees bet. We there's a section of the Discord where whenever someone makes a definitive proclamation, we call it the knees archive. And what that allows us to do is hold people accountable to things that they swore.
Hold their knees to the fire, if you will. Their knees to the fire.
So Slow-Mo and Backslap and I have a little knees wager. I believe we'll see Soros on PC before the end of 2027. And anybody who disagrees can hold me to that. That's okay. That's what I believe.
Okay.
Because again, if you come back to the quote, he says it's about the best possible experience.
Yes.
Where are you going to have the best experience playing Soros?
Yeah,
I'm asking.
It is what it is. Yeah, it is. And by the way, like you played it on the console, like it's been on the console. It didn't make much money there. It should have made more because by and large, it sounds like it's great.
It doesn't appear to be selling as fast as the first
as it should be. Yeah, exactly.
When you have 5 times as many units out there in the world. But again, my core thesis is that this is not about doubting Jason Schreier, but I do think there's a little bit of corporate shenanigans going on where it's like we want a message out there, but we don't want to confirm it. So for the hardcore people that care about this stuff, let's just leak it to someone that they listen to, like a controlled leak, and then just not say anything because it gives us the ability to hedge and turn back and do whatever we want whenever we want and keep it as what we've always said, case by case.
Because it hasn't been officially said.
Single player games. By the way, if you go back to the fireside chat, what did Herman Holtz say? They will continue to look if and when it makes sense to port our tentpole single player IP. This is no different than the thing they've always been saying. And again, the point of pulling back from PC, as it was told by the people who really want this to be true, is so that people know this is the only place you can get these experiences. If you wanted people to know that, why wouldn't you just say it? Why would you rely on a single reporter who that reporter is the one confirming his own report? There's actually no other person that can corroborate this story.
Yeah.
If you want people to know this is where you can get the games, why not? Why not say?
Yeah.
Why not tell people, hey, this is the only place you can get these games? Because wouldn't that do the thing that is the reason you're doing that in the first place? Or is it just possible you're going to keep your single player games and you're not going to port them in 14 months like you did Spider-Man, but you're going to wait a few years until the sales dry up, and then you get another round of sales and you put it on another platform for a different group of people?
Alvin 9033 with a $5 super chat. Shout out to you, Alvin. Thank you for being here. He says Demon Souls isn't a narrative game. Come on, Nishino. Stop wasting time and bring it to my PC, a place where all Souls games thrive due to mods. Yeah. You want the money? Here it is. It's on the table. Alvin's waiting for you to come and take it. It is what it is.
It's the same thing for me. I'd like to play Soros, but not enough.
Oh, I will definitely play Soros. Yes.
I do not want to play Soros enough to take back my PS5 from the kids.
From the kids, yes, me too.
Or go buy a new PS5. That I don't want it that much. Yep. Right? I barely have time to play First Light and the other game we talked about, Adventures of Elliot. So while I have this crazy backlog, sorry, I can wait.
Well, it is interesting that people are very much being very picky with the quotes, but the whole picture seems to be a lot of. Remember what we said before? That's exactly what we're saying now. Right now, how they move will be interesting to see, but how they speak has not changed. So it is interesting to me that people have been, yelling at the top of their lungs about how this is a change, when literally when you look at it, you're just like, hey, that's a little, a lot of much ado about nothing here. And I know what you were saying. We can pull Phil Spencer's quote, and it was exactly the same. And he was tarred and feathered in the streets for confusing. How is it so confusing? But this is the same way, Yeah, case by case. Some single players will live on console. Other single players will come to PC and other places. And how will they decide that? Hey, they'll make those determinations when the time comes. That's what he's saying. At least that's what I'm reading.
Right, which gives them the leeway to not bring games
to hedge every time they want,
or to bring games when they feel like they can. So what does that mean? Case by case. Now, what I do find funny is that everyone seemed like they needed a white paper when Matthew Ball tried to explain the same thing, and it didn't make sense. But now they don't even have a direct confirmation. They're just like, see, confirmed. I'm like, where does it say that? Did anywhere in that answer, did he say we are not publishing our single player games on PC?
He did not. He did not.
And that is a simple yes or no question that no one claiming that this is a full confirmation no one can say that, because he didn't say it. So what that is people's feelings.
Yeah. Not the facts. Yeah.
They're interpreting whatever they want the truth to be. And I think Sony is playing off of that because they know their people will do the work for them. Now, that being said, I see I do not. So
Victor Alistine, real quick, Victor Alistine wanted to answer the question from the previous conversation we were having, which was what plane did Claude Guillemot piloting? It was a Cessna 42-1B, Golden Eagle. That's what it was. So it wasn't written in the article. So
I don't know what that means.
Cessnas are not helicopters. That was a small passenger plane. Yeah.
Got it.
And Temper 21 is on your neck. He says, stop making sense of it, Bowen. Liberal arts journalists clearly have a better understanding of the business than you do. LOL.
Okay, but I did get a DM from AC3.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name probably, but what are your top 3 free gaming apps or website?
First off, shout out to Handheld United. Yes. I watch Handheld United constantly. So they gaming generation here, just letting us know how they appreciate us. We appreciate you too, sir. Thank you so much for the shout out. That's awesome. That's cool. I'm sorry. Continue, sir. What were you saying, everyone?
No, I was saying your top 3 free gaming apps or websites.
Gaming apps or websites? That would be gaming apps. Would be so.
I
Let's
don't.
do
I don't
what.
know if that means launcher. I don't know what. Or are we talking about like IGN when we say
Okay.
website? What are
So
we?
when he says gaming,
If
let's
you're
do the
still in
website
the
first.
chat, Casey, please
Yeah.
explain the question.
Yeah. Well, so what I'll say, gaming website first and foremost, Discord. Not Discord. Deals.gg. That is the gaming website, right? If you're and less for consoles because they do consoles as well, but not as much as PC various platforms. But if you are in any PC store, Deals.gg is where you need to be all the time because otherwise you're paying full price for stuff. Deals.gg gets you peanuts on the dollar. Speaking of that, Dry Rub dropping codes. Ace Combat 7. Man, this guy always with the cool stuff. Appreciate you, Dr. Dry Rub. Shout out to and he's got Lords of the Fallen as well. Like, man, that is fantastic. That is fantastic. But yes, that is where you should go if you have any will to play some games and don't have unlimited funds. Always check the game, old or new, even specifically new, old rather, to DG.deals because more often than not, if the game has left the zeitgeist, it drops to peanuts on the dollar and you can get that benefit. So there's that. And shout out to Dry Rub for copious codes in the chat right here. Copious codes.
Ari is wild, and then Pepper.
Yeah, man. Good one. Love Pepper Grind. It was a really good game. Yes. So yeah. Hopefully you can the gentleman who asked the question can come back in and ask give us a bit more details. If you need gaming apps, like give us more of a heading as to what those apps should be doing, and we'll definitely give you some pointers as well. Definitely about that as well. Today is Yuzu's day right here. He's Dr. Dry says 5 hearts under one roof, a Yuzu special. Stop it, bro. Anyway.
Now, when he said that, I was like, you know what they should make? Or maybe we should do it. 5 heartbeats the game.
Yeah.
2D pixel. Anyway, forget it.
Stop giving away the code. Stop giving it away. Go into the DM, Everborn Saga. There's another link I have sent you there because since we are still on the Sony topic, let us go all the way into the Sony topic and talk total rumor and speculation. Let's be clear, ladies and gentlemen, this is completely rumor and speculation territory, right? Just like it has been on Xbox, where we will also be talking about. But you said let's discuss the PlayStation one first. And what are we talking about? We are talking about basically the big rumor that Sony's also reportedly potentially closing a bunch of studios, and we don't know when that's going to be, but it's been bubbling for some time. Right, but they're gearing up, as it's being reported, for layoffs across many studios. Suggests that Bungie, right? Bungie may have an issue. We don't know yet. Like we don't know. We really don't know. This report says the Housemarque is safe. They're good, which I'm happy about because Housemarque is awesome. And even though we did say that we know that Soros may not be hitting as high as it should have been or is expected to. I was worried that Housemarque was going to be on the chopping block, and I love that studio. So I'm happy that they are not.
Well, I had felt just as strongly a week before that Ninja Theory wouldn't be on the chopping block, even though we all true.
And
I also find it interesting that they're doing sort of a press tour going on the games business, saying that we are officially first party now, and we've got 120 employees, and I'm like, 120 employees. Oh, so okay.
So in that chat, like just so you understand where this rumor speculation is coming from, the report, and you can point it out if you scroll through the thing. This is coming from a French investigative reporter called Sylvain Trinel. Sylvain Trinel. Yeah, he put a thing on Twitter. He's not just just a fanboy or whatever. He is a French investigative journalist. That is what he is. And he's suggesting that there will be they're bracing for major turmoil, right? Suggesting that the layoff situation over at Xbox is basically pointing to a larger thing that's happening in waves that are happening in many studios. And he says it's going to, quote, going to be a catastrophe, right?
Now, if this happens, as a matter of fact, it's a rumor. So which is all we have on the other side. Will the kind of funnies of the world go on a rant saying that Sony should get out of the hardware business? Or
stop it. Yes, I saw that. Yes.
I'm just asking the question. These are just questions, people.
These are just questions, just like Eastside Vandal asked questions. It is what it is. But yes, it does sound like, if this is to be believed, there will be some layoffs happening here.
I'm gonna close this window because there's too many ads popping on this page, and this website feels kind of loose.
Yes. Go ahead and close the site. But yes, I appreciate, we're just making mention. We're making mention because today, where we are today, we're talking lots of rumor and speculation. Well, like you said, the Sony one is a little shorter because there's not as many details. It's just been out there in background in many forms that, hey, this is going to happen or expect
really quickly. Shout out to the Pews 1511. He says, y'all are pretending the two situations are equal when they are not. Here's the thing.
Okay.
The Pews. We're not pretending that the situations are equal. It's just that some of us are pretending that there is one problem and the other one is just fine.
Yeah.
Right? One of us is saying there's nothing to see here, and the other one of us are saying, hey, there's a lot of things going on across the board, and everybody's going to react differently. Everybody's position in the market is different. There are things that are happening, but it seems as though just for the last 5-6 years, there's just a specific group of people in the online discourse that no matter what they see, they will just tell you everything's fine. Don't look this way. Look at the other house, right?
And to be fair and clear, the comparison we're making is we're comparing rumor and speculation. None of it has been officially substantiated on any side.
This is what I'm talking about. This is the thing I'm talking about. Xbox closing up PlayStation. Closing up what? Studio?
Exactly. We don't have any confirmation of any of that.
Like Lupin? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Or do you only care about job loss in the gaming industry when it's from a company you don't like?
Yep. It is what it is. So I guess maybe it doesn't sound it, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to help those of us who pay attention here calibrate the message. Because what's happening here is it seems like it's very one-sided, while the actual rumors are abound on both sides. Where it lands, who knows? Right? We don't know. All we know is there is a lot going on right now on both sides, and for some reason, only one side is getting a lot of smoke, and that's probably because there's a lot of journalists focused on that one side, giving a lot of those rumors and giving it a lot of air. But what we're saying here is there are similar rumors and speculation on the other. So how will it be when it lands? We can adjudicate that when it lands. Right now, nothing has happened, and it's all equally rumor and speculation on both sides. Right? So, to suggest that one is closing up shop while the other is just like, nothing to see here. Yeah, that's not exactly accurate, right? What is accurate? That remains to be seen, because no one's speaking. It's all rumor and speculation.
And shout out to the Pews again. Respect to both of y'all, but there's a reason why Xbox gets it worse than the others. It's because the situation is compounding and much worse on one side than the other. So let me ask you a question, the Pews. What is the live service situation on the PlayStation side? How many projects were greenlit that are now canceled, and what is the roadmap? And how many first-party games do you get from one side versus the other right now? Right? And again, this is not about, this is another thing. How many studios were shut down by Sony versus Xbox? And what bets did Sony make that didn't pay off versus the ones that Xbox made that didn't pay off. Right? So which of Sony's acquisitions actually paid off?
Yeah. So look, we think this is a matter of messaging because Sony, and let's not get it twisted, Sony is great at messaging, great at PR, to the point where a lot of people, even Xbox fans, say, yo, why can't you do more like Sony? Messaging, PR, all that. Because they are experts at it, I feel like they're using that to inoculate themselves from a lot of the smoke. We all know, say what you will about Xbox, say what you will about Microsoft, they're not great at marketing and messaging, right? So theirs is fair game for all to see. But when you see the situations, they're kind of pretty similar, right? You know, a lot of rumor and speculation, a lot going on, you know, and because Microsoft is considerably bigger, people will assume that whenever something happens with them, it's like considerably larger, and it is, but per capita, it's about the same thing. PlayStation 2, Xbox, about the same thing. They are decimating a lot of they're rejiggering a lot of their studios for whatever purpose they deem fit, and so too is the rumor and speculation about Xbox, right? But somehow one is closing up shop and it's over, and the other one is nothing to see here. This is all we're pointing out, right? So when it all lands, we will see. But you know, some folks will be consistent saying that it's not the same. We'll see when that plane lands. Let me catch up on a couple quick super chats and we'll continue on here. The great Lucius Augustus with $5. He says Jeff Grubb came out with a video, 7 reasons not to trust Xbox. Most of the reasons he gives are things that Sony has also done. It's insane. But see, this is what I'm saying. That messaging and marketing always seems to inoculate them, because once they do it in a righteous way, now it's no big deal. But since those other guys did it and they ripped the Band-Aid off cold and painfully, now they're the ones that get all the smoke, even though they both do it relatively equally. I would see in my historical reference. So the great J Matt, he's here. He's been a member for 29 great months, sir. We appreciate your how kind and generous you have been. He says, embrace your group. Closed 40 plus studios. Embrace the group. Closed 40 plus studios. Not a peep from a community. Proves fake outrage is real. #graybeards. Yeah, look, it is surprising as heck to me that Embrace the Group still exists after all the turmoil they've been through. But somehow they've been able to, you know, move forward, shake the spot, and they're still around. I actually think that's pretty impressive from them. I expected them to be gone by now. I really did, because of all the rumor and speculation about all the things that they were closing, right? So yeah, it is what it is. And then the great 30 Below with a $5 super chat. Ooh, wow. And of course, Dr. Dryroff just dropped Space Marine 2. If you get that, you should thank him, because that's an amazing game. Anyway, 30 Below, $5 super chat. He says, I take it this is the console war segment of the show, and I'm here for it. #renegade. Sir, it seems to be we have a console war segment. Go ahead.
We do, but I again, the straw man that people are creating is that, or at least I am not, right? Maybe you're saying something different. No one is saying they are the same. What we are saying is we have news and a rumor on one side that is willfully ignored. And then on the other side, it is the end of the world. And if you can't acknowledge that, because we're getting ready to rip Xbox apart right after we get to this segment, and you're not going to have any issue when we do that. But if we have a piece of news that potentially paints Sony in a negative light or a similar light, you are all going to fall out of your seats to come and type on.
Sir, we have 2 hours. We are 1 hour and 47 minutes. Come on.
We get ready to get into it. My point is, you have no problem, zero, if I go and I criticize Xbox, which I'm getting ready to do. But if I say something about your precious, then here you come
with your demon.
Nobody demon. Right.
way. Shout out to the Discord. If you know, you know. Join the Discord.
Since they are all upset, let's go to the Xbox bash.
Well, no. There's two super chats still to go, and then we'll get to the Xbox bashing section. Erodimus for the $5 super chat. He says, "Kay, when you say that Sony is great at messaging, do you mean blackballing journals for writing negative things about them?" I mean, that is a tool they use in their bag. But yes, in addition to other things.
I don't think Sony's great at messaging because they don't do a lot of it. The games media, a good portion of them are good at making things all seem like they're fine or ignoring what they need to.
Well, but you know what? The reason why I will give Sony credit for that is, why would the games media have like this thing that they do all the time for Sony? Whether it's on Front Street or in the background, I believe Sony has a hand in that, to keeping their legacy and their PR and their look clean. So whether they're not speaking on Front Street, whether Nishino is not coming out and saying this or that, I feel like they have a hand in how they're perceived in the market, and that is to their credit. Whether it's accurate or not, that is to their credit. They're able to obfuscate whenever possible, do it genius level, and beat the $1 trillion company to the punch every time. It is to be respected. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is it that this smaller company is able to outdo them so much? It is what it is. You know, as far as messaging and all that. So I will give them credit for that. Soultech, $2 super chat. He says, "Please like and subscribe. Humility is awesome."
Wait, who said that they were paying the media? Is that somebody in the chat that Aaron's responding to?
I don't see that. Who said they're paying?
No. Aaron's saying, "Nah, ain't nobody paying media for opinions." How would that work? That's not the argument I'm making. Maybe Aaron's responding to somebody in the chat.
Yeah, I don't think any of us. Both of us saying that.
PlayStation has a lot of fans in the media who do a lot of the heavy lifting for them.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
Yes. And my saying about even if they're not coming out on Front Street, like exactly to what Erodimus is saying, right? If they know, go to Gamescom, sir. Find a way for me to pay for it, and I will be there day one, sir. I would love to be there. It's just tight these days, sir. Pause. Shout out to the great Paris Lily. Right. What we're saying about that is, like, people know that you can't just say like whatever you want to say about that company without getting some kind of pushback or some kind of like it being pushed back on in some kind of way by them, right? So clearly they are able to control their message. I'm not saying they do that with finances, absolutely not. But we hear them blackballing folks, we hear them blacklisting stuff. That stuff happens pretty frequently when people come out and say things they don't like, right? Okay. Do I agree with that? Absolutely not. But that's just what they do in order to keep their messaging tight. It is what it is,
So this is what I mean, and we can move on from this point. Mm-hmm. So the Pews says Sony should be called out for layoffs, and I'm quite sure they will if it comes out that that's true, right? Cool, fair.
Not but equal to Xbox's.
Hold on. Right, mm-hmm. But it's not equals to what bloodbath? Who's been fired yet?
Right, because we haven't seen. That's also not true.
And also, it hasn't been confirmed. It won't happen. But the point is, you've taken the bad news on the Xbox side as fact, and then with Sony, you're like, well, let's see what if and when it happened. We'll address. Why is not the same? It's not the same.
Not the same energy.
That is a you thing because of how you feel. It is not calling balls and strikes.
See, and I feel like that's a Sony thing because they've cultivated that for a long time. And that's why I'm saying they deserve credit. Because no matter what bloodbath potential is coming out, if it's from Sony, people will go, well, let's wait and see. Versus if you hear the same modicum from Xbox, oh, it's over. They've done it 100%. Right? It is true.
And this is the last time I'm addressing this. The Xbox rumors have been corroborated a lot more. What's been corroborated? That they're negotiating with the studios?
Yeah.
But you just read, they're firing people and closing down the studios. Let me go with that. And I mean, not look further because I don't like them and it paints them in a bad light. So let's just take it all as fact. And we do that too.
Well,
And by the way, this is
be
a both
fair
sides
here.
thing. This is
Be
a both
fair.
sides thing. Hold on.
Just because he says that doesn't mean it because it paints him on a bad light. You know that's not automatic.
Once again, this is a both sides thing.
Yeah.
People who prefer Xbox will take a Sony rumor as fact if it paints them negatively. This is not just something. This is what fans or people with biases do in general. So what I'm saying is, if you have one energy for a rumor because it's still in the rumor stage and you're waiting for more concrete facts, then let's get that. And if you care about people getting laid off, don't brush under the rug the potential of one set of people getting laid off versus another. But again, let's go and move to the next thing, because we'll do this forever.
Forever, yes. Another quick super chat. The Great Hollywood Rules, who's been a member for 15 months. He says, Happy Father's Day to two of my favorite graybeards and the fathers in the chat. Not a great week for gaming, but I see the Xbox tax has rose again. It is what it is. He finished it off with a $5 super chat and says, I hope the rumors on the closures, I hope these rumors on closures till confirmed are just that. So Sony made monitors, controllers, chairs, and PCs to pull it off of PC. Sure they are. So there you go. Right?
Be careful.
It's all rumors.
Be careful, Hollywood. They might come after you.
The great Paris Lily. Oh, I see he's here. He says all layoffs are bad. There isn't this one is worse than the other one. Absolutely. And what we're saying is, currently right now, it's all rumor and speculation on all sides, and it sucks. I hope that the rumors themselves were put out there just so that when the actual plane lands, they are far less than what the rumors purport to be, because that would be just so sad, you know.
So Slow-Mo, you're doing a little bit of this, and I don't realize.
This is the last one. Then we're heading to Xbox.
I don't know if you realize what you're doing, because maybe you came into the conversation late. What we started and we said we have two sets of things we're talking about. We'll talk about the Sony stuff first because it'll be shorter, and the Xbox stuff requires a larger discussion. And then we had people coming in the chat telling me, no, PlayStation is just fine. And no, don't say this. And you're not worried about Xbox. And so you thinking this is what about PlayStation thing is not something that we started. You came in with that because you have an issue with what you think.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
And so that's all you heard, but you didn't realize that we were literally saying, here's the PlayStation news. Let's talk about that. And then let's talk about all the bad stuff Xbox did. It's the chat that led us down this thing. Right. So now you're saying, but what about PlayStation thing? Nobody started this as a, but what about PlayStation?
Yeah, we were taking this as rumor and speculation coming from the various sources about these impending layoffs, which is happening across the board, right? Like, we've heard a lot about PlayStation, we've heard a lot about Xbox, but the PlayStation one seems to be a little further away and has a lot less reporting on it.
It bothers Slow-Mo when Xbox guys have opinions, but it's okay. We'll move on, and so everybody will be comfortable when we start the Xbox admonishment.
Stop it.
Then Slow-Mo won't say anything. Then the pews won't say anything. They'll just be like, "Yeah, this is right. This is warranted criticism."
Oh man!
Go. Let's get to that part so the crying can stop.
The 1st and 15th too. What the chat says, the way the media is reporting Bungie is weird. Thank you, sir. On that note, let's talk about the Xbox stuff. Let's talk about the Xbox stuff, because yes,
it will make Slow-Mo feel more comfortable.
Stop.
That's okay.
Right. You know what? They've heard you. They've heard you smoke too much, smoking Sony too much. Go ahead and give us the rumor and speculation on Xbox, sir.
All right. So, after a fantastic showcase where we saw things like Halo going to PlayStation, even though it shouldn't. We saw Gears confirmed as it was a console exclusive. We saw Fable looked fantastic. And then we saw Ninja Theory come out and announced the thing that we had all wanted, which is Hellblade with all of its beautiful cinematic storytelling, but also more combat added. And again, it's not asking too much because this is these are the people who did Heavenly Sword, right? So it comes out, they're putting combat in the game. We all praise them for it. And we all say, maybe this is a new day. And then we get the news as reported that first it was major layoffs coming, studios are on the chopping block. And then Tom Warren comes out and confirms Ninja Theory is being shut down and they got the call on Monday. And
so about that, let's pause there for a moment because it even got me initially. First, it was they are closed, and they got the call already, and everyone lost their ever-loving mind. And then it became, oh, they're not closed. This was like 3-4 days later. They're not closed. It's more of, they're in negotiations for spin out and potential closure if they can't get to a deal. But the whole they're closed and they've been announced already, that was basically the fact on the ground for like a whole day, which is kind of wild because people lost the thread a lot because the reporting by media outlets that really that people tend to focus on, right? Well, like, hey, this has happened. Not it potentially is happening or there's something going on. No, this has happened. Right? You showed the game on Sunday, and then Monday you fired everybody. That's what they said. Kind of wild.
Right. And again, you show this game, and remember, there's so much trust that was lost in 2022 when they had the showcase that said all these games are coming out in the next 6 months, and then none of them came out.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And so they were slightly starting to recover from that.
Mm-hmm.
And now you do this. So when you do this, this is why when you say things, people have doubts. People, they know that you're saying words, but people don't believe things until.
And by the way, Everborn Saga, because we are even keeled here on this show, I will give Pews 1511 his flowers because I solely agree with this one. Front Street all day. When this happens, silence.
Oh yeah, and this is the thing. Matthew Ball comes out and says, "Hey, Shinobi, this is false," or "That's false." They come out and they tell you when something's false with all of these closure story.
Silence. Yeah. So it continues to breed that distrust. It continues to make the snowball bigger and bigger.
Well, actually, I think it did something different.
Okay.
Which is, listen, if something's false, they'll correct the record, and when they're silent,
it's true. It's true. Exactly. Right. So like, all the smoke we give Pews for the back and forth, I will not give you smoke for this because you're absolutely right on this one. 100%. And I was like, this is why initially I was telling people in our Discord, I don't like that they're sitting there coming out every day, talk about, hey, don't start this, don't all that. Because now you're growing expectations. The minute you're silent, now it's like, hey, what happened? And that's what happened literally a week after. You go after Twitter folks and say, hey, don't say this, don't say that. 5 minutes later, now you're super, super quiet. What does that tell me? It tells me that maybe you shouldn't have started that in the first place. It sets a bad precedent. But please continue.
And again, the silence is also like all of the people that were complaining when we were talking about PlayStation. They're silent now because we are saying things that paint the other side of the negative light. I just think it's funny, including you, Slow-Mo. Now, what Lucius Augustus Rex says is the silence is because they're in the process of figuring it out. It's not to say it's 100% true, but to say it's in the air. So you have nothing definitive to say. Yeah, that's true, but that's too nuanced for people on Twitter to understand. So we just have to take it as fact that they're shutting down.
But that also is a righteous take. But that's also how you should always move. Soft, with deference, and understand. But what was happening is, recently with the new moves, no one was allowed to speak, because the minute you say something that had been said many times, a lot of mouth breathers, I'll agree, have been saying those things. The minute you say something that is not correct, the new modus operandi was to come out and set the record straight. And a lot of folks were happy about that, right? But it started breeding and teaching folks, oh, this is their new move. So the minute these rumors come out and you're silent, yeah, now you've really ruined the thread, because 15 minutes ago you were shouting down mouth breathers. What happened?
Well, hold on. Shout out to Yuzu, which he is 1,000% right. The problem is you guys keep looking at Twitter. Twitter is hell. Yuzu has the chat of the day. I do agree.
Dang it, Yuzu! I hate when you're right. It is what it is. But the great Yuzu from the Discord.
But to come back, I don't want to make this all about Hellblade, because I do think that it is a larger issue that is worth discussing, and I think that there is truth to the idea that a reset was needed at Xbox, and what that reset looks like. I don't think you'll ever find an answer that everyone is going to be happy with, right? And so what we have to, looking at what is happening now, is really only looking at the symptom, right? But what is the root cause that led us to where these studios are potentially, their fate is potentially up in the air? And I think that's where the conversation is. And we can say, oh, they don't know what they're doing, or oh, they always lie, or oh, just for games. We can say all that stuff, and there will be a bunch of people to do that. But the question is, what can you and I add to the conversation? So I think
if you do me a favor real quick, in the private DM, in the private chat here, I did put an IGN article that they recently wrote about it, and the headline is "Wow." And we can read through it. We can keep talking. I just wanted to kind of give you some of this stuff so you understand like where we're coming from when we say it seems to be a bit one-sided, because this is like, whoa, hey, I don't know if you've seen this article. Just the title alone, I'm just like eyebrow raising. Okay,
So what I will say is, shout out to Donnie Leap, says, frustrates me most gaming discourse revolves around tweets from anonymous anime avatar profiles.
Yes, sir.
To me, I think tweets are gonna be tweets, but what brings my attention is when you have games media, actual games journalists behaving like the anonymous anime avatar profiles. And that's what makes it worth me talking about, right? If you hear me talking about a tweet, it is going to be because it's coming from a person who is not an anonymous avatar. They work for
it's coming from a reputable
Fortune
outlet,
magazine, a Bloomberg, an IGN, and things like that. And I do think that there's some responsibility there. So when if I see something that I don't like how it's reported, or I think it could have been done better, then that is worthy of me, in my opinion, taking my time to talk about it. But I do understand the point. Yeah,
he's not wrong. Absolutely. So everyone, please put the link. I have the link in the DMs if you wouldn't mind putting it up, and I will read just the headline, and we'll dig into it because all of it is known factors that you all know. But the headline says, and let me put it in there. Let me put it on the front street here. Let's see, and
I gotta get an ad blocker.
Oh, sir, we need to talk to you because I ain't got those issues. We got to talk. He says, amid concerns over Xbox Studios' quote-unquote bloodbath, new report says developers are being punished today for following orders. Right?
Yeah.
And then the quote tweet underneath is, it's going to be bad.
I mean, it is going to be bad. And so this is the nuance in the discussion. And I know a lot of people are not going to like what I have to say on it, right? So the reality is, the reason that,
and I apologize, everyone. I don't mean to cut you. I may need to switch out my headset situation. So if you see me gone, I will be right back. Continue.
Right. So the reason PlayStation and Nintendo are looked at the way that they are in terms of them having this high profile content is because they focus their first party on high impact IPs, qualities, triple A's, but obviously it's varying degrees because of hardware or whatever. So what Nintendo does is still high profile content, right? And what Xbox has been doing, because of what their business model was with Game Pass, is they brought in several studios to fill out Game Pass with art house projects and sort of have quick turnaround time, small teams, being very creative. Hopefully they would get critical acclaim and keep people subscribed to the service, right? And what it's looking like now is they are, after the Activision acquisition, they're trying to paint a picture of them bleeding money, and they have to make a change. And what they want to do now is focus on the proven IP so that they can hopefully one day, in their opinion, get to be viewed in the way that Sony and Nintendo are, right? And I see chat from Slow Mo, and I think that this is a nuanced conversation. So this is the point that I'm gonna slightly refute, but also agree with. So Slow Mo says,
"Can you hear me, sir?"
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Slow Mo says, "I don't like how the narrative has shifted to these studios didn't make money. Then that wasn't the criteria by which they were. When that wasn't the criteria by which they were acquired." They were acquired quality games for Game Pass, and that's what they did. Okay, so
shout out to Slow Mo. That's where my ire continues to raise. So, I feel like, and I'll let you speak. I promise. I feel like everybody is ready to jump out the window and say, "See, they didn't make money." That's not why they were hired. That wasn't their modus operandi in the first place. Because if it was, why would you hire Double Fine? They are not a moneymaker. They never were.
I don't.
And if you look at most of these studios, Compulsion, they all have critical darlings, but they're not financial juggernauts. They never were.
So, but here's the thing, right? The reason that they were acquired, let's say they weren't acquired. They were acquired to fill Game Pass, right? That's what they were. And they wanted notable content that would get people to subscribe to the service and stay subscribe to the service. The problem is, did Game Pass grow? And it did not grow past the 30 million number, because we never got an update even before all the
what it is, right? Come on,
hold on. Go ahead. Sure. Before the multi-platform strategy that everyone didn't like, it sort of hit a plateau. So them raising the price to $30 was not because it was growing until then and let's go get more. It's because they'd reached a potential ceiling of where they were, and they were behind where they projected to be. So the goal of the studios were to pump out games quickly. I think the problem is a lot of them, and this is partly due to COVID and things like that, they were acquired in 2018 and the studios in questions took around 5 to 6 years to produce a game. And when they did produce those games, some of them were awarded, but they were not awarded in the sort of game of the year, memorable for a generation going forward, meaning they did not
they didn't set the world
Double Fine didn't release something at the level of Astro Bot. Mm-hmm. Meaning, like, it was notable. It is a small team. Even if it doesn't make money, it's a critic darling. Everyone's talking about it, and it'll always be remembered, right? The other ones, like, you didn't make an Expedition 33, another AA game that punched above its weight. I know that is an outlier.
That's a unicorn, sir.
Sure. But you didn't make a Baldur's Gate 3. So my point
also
is,
a unicorn.
These games were great, but did they push through all the other amazing things? Are they looked at the level of some of these Nintendo and
well, but understand, I hear your point, but here's my, and shout out to Lucius for joining us. I'll let you jump in a moment, sir. The reason why I feel that's unfair is a lot of these studios, most of these studios, were brought in and they had something in the tank for someone else, and they were allowed to finish that, right? Microsoft kept saying that, well, we have prior obligations. We're going to fulfill those obligations before they start working for us in the way we want them to. Some of them were short. Some of them were long turnaround, right? And we knew, you and I, Everborn, on this show, we've had 200 plus episodes. We were sitting here talking about how it would take some time for them to turn around a lot of these potentials and turn them into great studios. Like, we were talking about Compulsion and how, like, once they're finished what they were doing, they would then have a chance to make a game, and then, like, by assisting them and giving them the assistance, whether it be financial or whatever it is that they need, help them reach the upper echelon. Same with Hellblade, right? Like, the idea here is, over time, right, they'd spit out games, and with your tutelage and your financial helping, you would assist them and change them from what they were when they first got there, which were sparks, right? A lot of them were just sparks, and you would turn them into fire. It looks like they didn't cultivate that middle ground that they needed in order for them to reach beyond what you're describing, right? But now it's like, well, new criteria, new rules, new boss.
But again, like, the studio, listen, we're going to get to the root cause analysis of this. And a lot of this is, like, to do with management. But what we're saying is, if a new set of eyes comes in and did not make those personal promises to these people, and the people pushing back against what I am saying right now, and again, this is not the fault, there's blame to go around is what I'm saying, right? But not, and I know Slow-Mo, and I'm taking your points and I'm taking them, like, earnestly, but you wouldn't even consider any of these games Game of the Year contenders in the year they came out. You would not put them in the top 5 games released of any of these years. That doesn't mean they weren't great games. It's just that
I would argue against. I would argue with Hellblade 2, and I would also argue with South.
And Psychonauts did get nominated, right?
Yes,
but
I would argue those 3: Psychonauts 2. I would argue Hellblade 2, and I would also argue South of Midnight. All 3 were nominated in some shape or fashion, were award given.
Psychonauts 2 was like 5 or 6 years ago.
True,
right. Okay, so
let me just say this last thing, Lucius, and then you jump in. Let's just say this last thing. So the point is, yes, this falls on management, but at the end of the day, someone looking at the business with fresh eyes, no one can argue that they're not in whatever position they are in the market, because we wouldn't be talking about it if we weren't. And so, again, I just said Psychonauts, and again, that was 6 years ago, right? So the point is, like, if I go to let me come back, because I don't want to be slanderous, because I'm trying to have a real conversation. What I'm getting at is, they made a gamble, and the gamble did not work, right? They were supposed to be at 60 million Game Pass subscribers by now, and they are not. And whoever's fault that is, they needed to make a change. And so is the answer to continue to do exactly what they were doing, right? And so, again, you can look at and say, in the past 5 years, this is what they've produced. This is what they're producing right now, and it is not hitting the mark. And should there have been any guidance from management to say, you have to make something that is at least, that has some casual appeal, meaning whether you're a Game Pass subscriber or not, Slow-Mo, you don't care about Kiln. You don't, right? And there's nothing, whether it was in the service or not, designed to be in the service. They just made something that didn't appeal to a lot of people. Right. And so when you're making an assessment and you say, all right, we need to get this business in a different place. And because management made decisions that were not smart or were lackluster or didn't have oversight, now you have different people in the room who are going to do the things that we don't like. You know what I'm saying? And that's not really the fault of the current people doing the thing. It is the fault of the people that led us here.
Yeah. So
go ahead, Lucius. Yeah.
So here's the thing, and I want to make it very clear. I want to make two things very clear before I get into this whole diatribe. One, I loved games like Hi-Fi Rush, Hellblade 2, South of Midnight. I enjoyed Kiln. I enjoyed Keeper, right? And at the same time, I also want to say that these studios shouldn't be forced to be something that they're not. They should still try to be the thing that brought everybody into the studio in the first place, because that's how you create good games. Because if you try to force them to make a game that they're not really that they don't really like, you have people leaving the studio, you end up with something like Redfall, right? So you don't want that, right? So I want to make it very clear. I'm not telling Microsoft or advocating that they should throw anyone into the Call of Duty mines or any of that shit.
Lucius, you know as well as I do, the Psychonauts 2, considered by many to be Double Fine, one of Double Fine's greatest games, almost closed that studio. The one before it that almost closed that studio was Brutal Legends. What does that tell you? They don't make AAA games. They can't.
It's not about AAA games, because even Psychonauts 2 was a great AA experience.
AA, yes. Right? They don't make huge games by that barometer.
But I think a lot of it, Double Fine, in a lot of ways, has the same problems as Bungie, but just at a much smaller scale, which is they don't know how to manage their money properly. Like, we have to remember that for I think it was either Brutal Legends or Psychonauts 2 or whatever, during one of their rounds of getting money from the community, they asked for $300,000. They received over $1.5 million and still ran out of money. Still needed Microsoft to be able to save them.
Well, here's another question, Lucius. Would these studios still be around?
None of them would exist.
Absolutely not.
None of them exist without Microsoft buying them when they did. But that I say all of that to say, I am not looking at this from a malicious standpoint. I like the studios. I like the games. Simple as that. All right.
I loved Hellblade 2 and South of Midnight. Those are, but again, just because they hit with me, doesn't mean they hit the KPIs they needed to hit.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So, like,
what were those KPIs at the time, though? They weren't there at the time.
Okay, no, but hold on. They were there, right? Did they drive subscriptions in Game Pass? Yes or no?
Like that. Let me say my bars.
You do your thing. I'm sorry. I'm too animated.
So, at the end of the day, I liked all of those games. I like all of those studios. None of this is coming from a mentality of maliciousness. But let's get into the business of it. These games didn't sell. Cool. Like that was not a requirement at the time. What was a requirement that Microsoft needed? They needed these games to be A, popular in Game Pass, and B, for the studios to be able to pump out games at a much faster scale than their much larger studios. You know that your larger studios that are working on gigantic projects are going to take 6 or 7 years. So in between that time, you need other studios to be able to produce. And we, as all Xbox fans, we lived through between 2020 and between 2020 and 2024, where it seemed like they had almost no content. Or when they would have content, the games would release right next to each other in the fall. Absolutely insane. They started getting better after a while, but during that entire time, Microsoft is paying these people money. They're paying their insurance, they're paying their health care, all of that stuff is getting paid for. It's money being dumped into the fire while no games come out. And even when the games did come out, they weren't popular on Game Pass. Hi-Fi Rush, incredible game, did not make a dent in Game Pass. South of Midnight, fantastic game. I saw that one person inside of the chat said that they gave up after an hour. That's on you, brother. That game was fantastic. At near the end of that game, where like there's like a whole mother-son story that they were like separated or whatever, and they had the music.
Yeah, but Lucius, they didn't explain the bottle trees. So
listen, all I'm saying is that for that person, that's on you for missing out on an incredible experience. I don't know what to tell you, brother. But South of Midnight was an incredible experience. There's a lot of these games that were really good, but that doesn't mean anything if they A, don't sell, and B, don't get the attention that they need on the subscription service, because that's the point of those studios, which is to grab attention for the subscription service. And if you aren't grabbing attention for that thing, it becomes a problem. Now, we can talk about how maybe at least some of this is Microsoft's fault because they didn't market those games as well as they should have.
Can I add to that?
That is a feasible argument. But let's stop acting like Microsoft doing this is something that it is incapable of us to be able to understand. Like, just put your business.
Let me and I know I'm the contrarian here real quick. Let's make it clear. I am not saying I don't understand this. I understand the business of it exactly right. 100%. 100%. No, I am being the representative on the other side here for this discussion. But I'll just say I wholeheartely understand the business realities of it. 100%, right? So it's not to say that we don't get that. It's to say that what I don't like, me personally, is yesterday that wasn't the barometer being held against them, and because it is now, oh yeah, those games weren't good enough. So
this is where I fundamentally disagree. The barometer, at least one of the barometers, has always been consistent, which is I need you to make
games into Game Pass,
right? And if it takes you 7 years to come out with one product, and that product is not really seen positively from anybody, and then Phil Spencer tries to save the studio by sending the games over to PlayStation, and even on PlayStation they don't sell, then what are we doing?
So this is the problem. I
understand. I'm not trying to hold them up to you have to be able to sell X amount of units, but if you weren't able to hit your first threshold, which was making multiple games for Game Pass, and you also didn't hit the second threshold, which was those games were supposed to bring people into Game Pass, then why? Then by the time that we move to the third threshold of did these games make any money, at that point you're 0 for 3.
Right. So again, when we say the job was to make quality games, and they did, why was their job to make quality games? What is the point after that? Because I feel like we're stopping at that point, and we're not saying the reason they wanted quality games is because they wanted to get engagement and subscribers. Yes. And the subscriber growth stalled.
Yes.
Well, but right? Okay, I hear you. But wait. No, stop. You say the subscriber growth stalled and you move on. But it wasn't game released subscriber growth stalled.
You didn't let me, but go ahead.
Please, go ahead.
So they were supposed to be higher in the totem pole, and if you look at the engagement of these games, they were not as high as some of the third-party content that they had in Xbox Game Pass, and even from a day one perspective, right? So
I bet you that third-party content costs less than owning that entire studio and paying for all their bills and paying for the electricity for the building that they're in. All of that stuff you have to pay for all of that, in comparison to just sliding Sega some money so that way the newest Persona game is out on Game Pass, and that's made a much bigger buzz than anything else.
Right. What was the last growth number we've heard from Game Pass?
I can tell you
because they usually do. They were doing it every year when it was growing. Every year we used to wait for the year-end fiscal whatever, and then they would say, "Now Game Pass is at this," and then they stopped doing that. And you knew that it wasn't growing from there because when the console sales stopped growing, they stopped telling you how much consoles they were selling. Right.
Sure.
So again, the point of quality games
way before they set Game Pass Ultimate to $30. Because
this is exactly what I was just trying to say. Because I was trying to say that, and you said you didn't move on, but you did.
No, but it's not. What I'm saying is it's not the $30 that stopped that. It's not. It was stagnant before that. For years before that, it was stagnant.
Years before that $30 was a response to, we are not making the money that we need to for all the money that we're spending. We need to increase the amount of revenue that we're bringing in. Let's increase Game Pass.
And we don't remember how they were making themselves small during the whole ABK thing, and we were yelling at them about it. There were reasons why it was stalling, right? No, there were reasons for it.
No, the reason why it was stalling is because no Xbox games were coming out for years. I'm just gonna say it straight up, bro. That the reason why that it wasn't growing is because Starfield missed its date. Multiple other games missed its date. We had like a year of Pentiment and Grounded, and both of those were at the tail end of the year.
So we are saying that the sole reason for the failure of Game Pass is because those guys didn't release enough games.
I'm saying that
it's not about those individual studios. When you're taking an all-up look at this, right? This is not about Ninja Theory, you effed up, or Compulsion, you messed up and this is your fault. But when you're looking in the aggregate of all of the studios and you look at where they were supposed to be versus where they are, and the reason that these studios were acquired and what they need to do now, these bad decisions are going to happen. Yes, it's from management, but again, let's not pretend we wasn't complaining about how they didn't have no games out.
Talk to them.
So now we just
we're not. No. Understand. No one is saying that this is everything was hunky dory. At least I am not saying everything was hunky dory fine and then they upended the apple cart. What I am saying is it seems that they are quick to spin a narrative that seems very high level and doesn't bring everyone to task here. Now, Slow-Mo will say it the way he does. I'll just say, and yet we haven't brought up the fact that a lot of the brain trust that whose orders were being followed are still there while these guys are in turmoil.
Yes, but of course, but that's how corporate works. We're not going to act like we're brand new, that we were just born yesterday. We know how white collar jobs work. We know how corporate works. This is something that is very corporate, and where you are given direction, and when that direction doesn't pan out, you are the one who suffers for it, not leadership. This is something that's very normal. We can give leadership smoke, and we will. This is not saying that we're not doing that, but right now we're just analyzing the simple fact of, did these studios do what they were supposed to do by the purchase? And I would say, based off of the two top metrics, which are getting people into Game Pass and then making a big splash on Game Pass, as in if let's just say you don't bring in a lot of new users, but if a lot of the users that are already on Game Pass all jump on your game, then Microsoft would see that as a real success. But none of these games that we're talking about, and none of these studios produced a game that a lot of people on Game Pass played. Even Hi-Fi Rush, despite how high quality that game is, for some reason, a vast majority of Xbox Game Pass users did not play that game.
So, and again, I will also add, right, this is not a story that we have covered, but it is a thing that happened. There was a lawsuit by investors and this happens with a lot of acquisitions where they're like, you didn't fight hard enough for a higher price, Bobby K, and you just took the first or second price Microsoft gave to you. We think it's worth more money. You should have got more. And so Microsoft just settled that case because they were tired of dealing with it, paid investors $250 million. Now, if they would have fought that case, that could have funded all of these studios for one more game. And the real issue, and again, we're not saying this is not management. What we're saying is, like, the things didn't do what they were intended to do.
So I will blame. I will agree.
Let me finish. If it were me making decisions, because I don't want this to come off like I'm crapping on the studios. If it were me making the decisions, I would have fought that legal case, spent $50 million on legal fees, took $200 million and said, hey, Double Fine, your next game is going to be Psychonauts 3 or Banjo, or Here's the Door. Or you can go to the salt mines if you want to. Hey, Rare, you're going to stop smelling farts and you're going to put out a game with that is not Sea of Thieves. right? Ninja Theory, you should have had this combat in Hellblade 2, but we're going to let you put this out now, right? There's things that you could do and put some mandates on them that the previous management did not want to do. So we're not saying this is not management, but let's not act like the studios delivered from any of the KPIs. It wasn't just make games. It was make games so we could grow the subscription.
Yeah.
Make
no.
games so we could have engagement. And that didn't happen. And whoever's fault that is, it still didn't happen.
Exactly. And we could talk about, and don't get me wrong, Kay Asante, we are ready to absolutely tear up management in the next conversation. But we can't get to that conversation if people just aren't willing to recognize that at the end of the day, no matter how much me or you or Everborn or anybody else liked those games, they did not hit any of the metrics needed to be able to keep them alive.
And we all on this here panel, we all know the corporate environment, right? It is what it is. We can move on to the next conversation as far as management is concerned. The only reason I feel the way I feel currently about it is, to me, and this is a completely different conversation, so please bear with me here. Let me try and land it so you understand where I'm coming from a sentiment perspective. For me, it's like this is the same kind of narrative that built up when consultants became shit on the shoe, excuse my language, and because of that, everyone was ready and willing to tar and feather them, even though there were people who were hiring them, bringing them in, agreeing to their work, putting it out, and then people weren't liking it. But the consultants were always getting the smoke, even though there's a lot of middle there. I feel like a lot of that is here as well, where yes, 100%, they didn't hit their KPIs, 100%, right? It was a back and forth that they failed at because they should have caught the zeitgeist at least somewhere so that they could continue to keep going, right? But now that we are where we are, it's like all the other thresholds that were put in place that also was accountable for that have moved aside and were solely focused on the people who put the product out when they were basically employees doing what they were told, right? They deserve smoke too, no doubt. I'm not saying they don't, because obviously if they were able to turn it around, they'd still be doing what they're doing. Clearly, they didn't hit the metrics they were supposed to hit. Clearly, there's no smoke on that. I don't think I ever said anything about that. It's just when the power dynamic is solely on the other side, right until the failure shows up, and then everyone moves out the way, and then you're solar focused. I think there's a little bit of unfairness there.
That's fine.
That's why I'm focused.
Here's what I'll say, Kay Asante. You either have to choose to argue for yourself, or you can argue for that side. You can't do both. Because we will stick to the very specific arguments that you say, but you said at the very beginning of this that you wanted to be the arbiter of that side.
I didn't say I wanted to. I said that by the nature of what we're talking about here, I am speaking for that side. Yeah, right.
Well, speaking for them, you're also taking some of their bad arguments, which is what me and Everborn were just.
Which is fine, right? And we can have that back and forth. But again, ultimately, for me, the power dynamics make it so that you get all the shit when it goes down, but during that time, maybe you even fought to do something different. But at that moment, you're not management, so shut your mouth and go do your job.
Also,
the minute the smoke clears and there's smoke, everyone moves out the door, and we point solely at you. You know what I'm saying?
We know the dirty work of white collar jobs. Like we understand this framework, right? And I feel bad for all the employees that might end up losing their job, be in a more precarious situation. The Microsoft benefits that
while you figure that out, do we have time? I know, Kay, you got to get out of here. Do we have time to bring Slow-Mo on? No, because I'm gonna have to go soon.
Ladies and gentlemen. So as long as you know where the outro banner is, I can leave y'all to it.
No, I don't know where it is.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Let's
if Slow-Mo can come on and argue this point, and we can get out of here by 1:00 EST.
15 minutes. I don't think that's possible. But I don't think that's possible. But let's
might be a Discord convo.
Give scope to the management now, because we talked about just the basic aspect of it, which I think we needed to address before anything else. Now we can just purely rip into.
And before we go, there's 8 super chats that we really want to address. So
read the super chats first. Read the super chats first, because
first and 15th too with the $2 super chat. He says these studios haven't made money in decades, sadly. It is what it is. Yes, we won't disagree with that. And then Razor Ultron, $2. He says these studios games didn't even get engagement on Game Pass. I would argue depending on the game, but sure. JD Gamer with a $5 super chat. He says unpopular opinion. I like many of these games, but we have to stop. We stop this all Microsoft Xbox management fault. Every one of these studios failed at their mandate. So many people agree with y'all. So he continues on to say another $5 super chat. So the argument sounds like my management said these games are fine, so I can keep making these games in the way that the community just keeps rejecting per sales.
Can we stop on that point just really quick?
I wanna blow the horn on that one, because it's like, if your community isn't even engaging with it, maybe take that as feedback.
And so when we say, and again, there is obviously management's at fault because most of them are gone. It's only Matt Booty is surviving. And I think the reason for that is just because he's so close to the production pipeline. And I do think he's on his way out because they got rid of Craig Duncan now. Obviously, we saw what happened to Phil and Sarah. So the people that put the business in this position actually did get the boot, right? Except for Matt Booty. Somehow, I think he got some dirt on somebody, or it's just that he's close to the production pipeline and they needed a smooth transition and it will get him out of there in due course. But again, the idea that the studios were perfect and couldn't do anything better and they delivered on all of their mandate because it was just to make games to no end. It wasn't to make games to go to service. Hold on. Let me just say this. So the point is, Kay Asante or Slow-Mo, if I come to your house right now and you tell me, hey, you get whatever you want out the fridge, does that mean I grab everything in your freezer and leave your fridge bare empty? Just because you said I could get whatever I want, I'll just take you literally. There is some level of decorum from the giver and the giftee to say, wait a minute, I know they're telling me I can do whatever I want, but I should also at least try to make something that will have a little bit more casual appeal, right? Not just go off the deep end just because I can. And I don't ever have to make money. I don't ever have to break even. I don't ever have to make anything that's going to have mass appeal.
And again, Obsidian is the perfect example. They were able to make the Pentiments of the world, but guess what? They also made Grounded, which is has received a groundswell and has so many players. And Grounded 2 is about to release next year.
And listen, proper management
about Grounded
management. The only thing I'll say is this:
some people here, they'll say Grounded is not good either. It's all about
Grounded is great, actually.
But here's the thing: Grounded is a thing because they put a team of 10 people on it, and when they had something, they funded it up. And again, that is a properly managed studio. Aside from the fact that people are now saying that Avowed and Outer Worlds 2 didn't perform what they need to, but the point that I'm getting at is good management would have said, "Hey, you can make Kiln." So long as you also have something like a Banjo. Hey, you can make this other thing so long as you have something that is more commercially viable that will allow you to do that.
I love that you brought up Banjo. I love that you brought up Banjo because Phil went to them and said, "I want. Do you guys want to work on a Banjo-Kazooie?" And they said no. The thing that would have probably saved them, at least when it comes to Double Fine, working on like a big project like that. They said no, so that way they could work on Keeper and Kiln. And I'm glad that they work on Keeper and Kiln. But you gotta look at
I have small amount of time. I have to read these chats. I have to. Apologies. It's me, the broke boy. $2 super chat. He says, "Good day. What's up with PlayStation Plus Halo requirements?" I think we've already covered those. Those
are crazy. Pull the port. That's what's up with it. Keep
going. First and 15th too with a $2. He says, Xbox only had one major IP in Starfield. That's why. It is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. I don't disagree on that point. It's Mr. Two Opinionated with $2. He says, I foreseen this when Phil was out of the picture. So I guess he's saying that he saw the bloodbath coming. That's not to be too clairvoyant. Anytime new management comes up, bloodbaths follow. It is what it is. And then JD with a $5 super chat finishes off and says, how many years did Ninja Theory have to fix Hellblade 2 before it launched? People were talking about the lack of combat over 2 years. They ignored people. And then, finally, the great Hargi Chani with a $10 super chat. He says, we don't actually know any of their metrics or how they were affected in Game Pass, retention, or ads. Sub-services need content. Not all content needs to hit. Perception of value, more content. Game Pass is essentially over.
Well, okay. So what I'll say against that is that from the people that a couple of us know, and we trust some of those people, as far as I am aware, like Double Fine's games, Hellblade 2, and actually Hellblade 2 did kind of well on Game Pass, but specifically Hi-Fi Rush, that did not do well on Game Pass, despite
but they also shadow dropped it and didn't.
Despite shadow dropping and no marketing.
Yeah, no marketing. People didn't know about it. Combination of things. But like there is and once again, you can blame management for a lot of these things. But as far as I'm aware, a lot of these games did not do well on Game Pass. Just based off of retention, new ads, whatever. What did add a lot of people was, from my understanding, is both Avowed and Outer Worlds 2 had a bump of new Game Pass subscriptions when those games came out.
And so did Starfield, if I'm not mistaken. Even though people talk about it,
at it. But once again, these are like background numbers that like
but Bethesda's not in trouble, so I don't think we need to bring up.
Web Dave, who's been a member for 2 months, thank you, Web Dave. He says the best way to start my weekend with the amazing crew of the Gaming Circle podcast. Hit the like button, TTSK Asante. I will always advocate for the little guys, even if they're in the big corporation. I'm sorry, it is what it is. But yes, now get back to your management talk. I have about 15 max, and then I got to close.
No, that's cool. It's cool. Listen. The Discord continues all of this. So,
I'll be in the Discord.
We're cutting this short. Take you behind to the Discord and sign up if you haven't already. It doesn't cost you anything. So get in. Talk about this. So again, what we're trying to do is not. I just think. In the same way last week when we talked about the Gears budget, and I'm like, it's not as simple as just saying they have this many devs and then you multiply that by the number of years they put out. It is not like we shouldn't dumb down. Well, a lot of people are going to dumb it down. I don't think people come here for us to also dumb things down. So we're just trying to have a nuanced conversation in it and say, while yes, this is obviously a management problem, and management greenlit these projects, and management gave them these budgets, and management watched all of these projects take longer than they were supposed to. Yes, this doesn't absolve management. What we're saying is just a fact that this is happening, whether it is whoever's fault it is. These things are happening because these studios don't have IPs to fall back on that they can say they can make money, and they did not. The IPs that they have didn't do what they were supposed to do. So now when someone who doesn't have the emotional connection to them, meaning new leadership, they're just going to look at the numbers. And so now we are where we are. And again, I hope that part of the negotiation is your next project has to be this. There's no more, you're going to make what you want, right? There's no more. Also, this is another thing. Like, we talked about this, and this is something Slow-Mo complained about. Matt Booty would say, oh, we got games, and the developers tell us they don't want to show it, right? These developers was just doing whatever they wanted.
Well, now, to be very fair,
said, shut up, we're showing this. But okay. I think you should, part of the negotiation should be, you're going to work on this project that is going to have high impact.
Okay, well, here's what I'll say for the devs. If you want me to have a showcase for the game, then that needs to be a part of my scope from a long-term point of view.
Wait, who's saying the games weren't good? No. This is slow. I hope he's responding to somebody. In the chat.
I was like,
if not, he's not.
Literally started my entire diatribe by saying that I love every single one of those games. So like, I don't understand where that's coming from. Anyway,
you liking a game doesn't mean the game did what it needed to do.
Exactly.
Signed a Sonic fan.
Yeah. Well, damn, I forgot what I was saying. That chat like broke my brain.
Well, you'll for when you remember it. So I think the studios were brought in, told they could make whatever they want. I do think there's still some obligation there to be creative, but also try to make something that is gonna have some commercial appeal, because it isn't just art. It's not a painting you hang on the wall.
Just so you understand, Slow-Mo, it says he was replying to JD's super chat, and this is JD's super chat right here, $10 super chat. JD Gamer says, who defending these games as good, quote, mind you, I love many of these games, but when prior to release, you get feedback and you release the same game on PS5, no major gameplay changes. That's just not smart. So in other words, the games were being said that they were good, but people weren't actually playing them as good games. I disagree on that, but my takes tend to be a little different than others. Like, I think those games were good from a gameplay and storytelling perspective. Even like South of Midnight, for me, the story was so good that the minimal gameplay was okay for me, because they were there to do something else. But I understand that, you know, writ large for console players and all that, it may not be the same. So,
but you brought this thing up, minimal gameplay.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think.
And then.
It wasn't gameplay.
No. It was the combat was rudimentary, and the skill tree was.
It wasn't gameplay first. It was story first, gameplay second.
I think what they should have done is, and I think I've said this before, put more floofs in the world, because the floofs are what helps you get upgrades. And if you can upgrade your abilities faster, then it would let you see that the combat can get a bit more complex and interesting as you get things deeper in. But it just took longer for you to get to a point in the part of the story where those powers even unlocked, one, but also two, if you didn't spend a lot of time collecting all the floofs,
you didn't collect the floofs and power yourself up. You thought the combat was basically
exactly. You wouldn't have enough. You wouldn't have enough floofs to be able to upgrade to the good stuff in the first place. So I think that's the biggest problem.
I fully upgraded my character in that, and it was fun. I just think what South of Midnight needs is a South of Midnight 2. But if it were me, instead of shutting down Tango, I would have put them full time on you do the combat system for South of Midnight, and then let these guys tell the story and do the world exploration, right? And again, I'm not saying I want these studios shut down, or I'm glad they're shut down. I think you should put mandates on them instead of saying, oh, you just make what you want. And the second point is, even if someone tells you just do what you want, it doesn't mean you have free reign to make something that's going to have the most limited appeal.
Yeah.
Shout out to Donnie Leap. I agree with this. He says, if the rumors are true, hopefully the studios can become independent and continue to make their types of games. I think that's the thing here, right? They grabbed studios that made different games for different people, right? They did that, and they were trying to fit them into the Xbox console shooter box frame, and not many people are there with that. Some people may not like that.
I gotta give pushback to that. Microsoft primarily gave these studios as much freedom as we've ever seen them give anybody.
Yes. But the point you guys are making that is valid is maybe they should have had that freedom, and they should have been focused to a specific point, and they weren't.
But even if they become independent, let's make it very clear,
they'll continue making the stuff they want, and they may live or they may die because
they were about to. All of them were about to die before.
Hold on. No, they won't. No, they won't continue making the stuff they want. That was a Microsoft thing. Yeah. And if they're independent, they're going to go pitch games to different publishers and funders, and they're going to say, get this shit out of my face.
You know what? Something in there that has more commercial Double Fine has been making stuff they want forever, even though they pitch it. They still haven't they haven't been like bending over backwards making Call of Duty.
And they told you Psychonauts 2 would have put them out of business.
But you use the worst example because Double Fine has always been in financial straits its entire time that it's been alive.
True, absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
and part of the reason is because their games don't have as large of an appeal to be able to sell so many units that they're good for the next game. Like they're always barely.
But we also know though. But we also know that Double Fine is full of developers who want to live in that world. They have said this many times. They know what AAA can bring them, but they don't want to do that. They want to do the indie, tiny, small in, small out kind of games. Now, to the point you guys are all clearly making, and I agree with, that will not last them long, possibly, right? That is a very factor. And to your point again, they probably would have been gone already if Microsoft didn't stop the bleeding and help them. But that does not justify every game turning into a Call of Duty. Like some people will do that and find their own little bit of success. Others will fail and go by the wayside, right?
But we're not asking for another Call of Duty or putting them in salt mines.
I'm using the Call of Duty likes as I'm using the Call of Duty likes as a barometer of saying something that hits the mainstream zeitgeist, which is what keeps people alive, right? Not everybody wants to do that, and they know that keeps them on the edge. And to Donnie Leap's point, I hope they get to go back and continue making those edge cases because some people like those edge cases. Not everybody was meant to make all the monies.
Okay, do me a favor. Let's let Slow-Mo come on to give the closing word. We're not going to respond because then it'll turn into a whole thing.
So let's see. The Talon Motion News with $2 super chat. He says the market overall decided the games weren't good, and I don't disagree with that. Right?
Or not interesting enough to go to because you have to play the game to know if it's good or not. But if the game doesn't appeal to you, then that's what the market decided.
But understand, right? You're talking. You're hearing this from me, a person who most of the time when you hear me championing games, you've either never seen them before, or you may not even be interested because they're not your type of game, right? A lot of these games were very appealing to someone like me, but I agree wholeheartedly that the market decided that they weren't good. That's fine.
Or that they weren't interesting enough to go to. Because once again, these games were good. You have to play a game.
Yeah, but they were all good. But when they came out, were they the best double A's of that year?
Go ahead.
Right, Slow-Mo, you got the link. Come in here so you could close this out. But were they the best? Were they considered as the best? Because I just feel like, and I think this is part of the decision making thing is, like. The people in the independent space that are making these AA games that outclass a lot of the AAAs is like they weren't making games that were in the same conversation as Hades 2 or again, I don't want to keep coming back to Expedition 33, but the point is, like, in terms of getting something in a service, I guarantee you it was cheaper for them to get Expedition 33 into Game Pass or what do you call it? Persona 6 or even Hollow Knight, right?
I'm going to use cheaper privilege here and shut y'all up and say Slow-Mo is here. Yeah. Here's the last 5 minutes. Go for it, Slow-Mo.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's cheaper for them to get those Game of the Year games in the service than fund the studio.
Shut down Everborn Saga.
And that's not the fault of the studio.
But yeah. Backup dancer, shut up. Be a backup dancer. My bad.
Damn.
I had to get one in. He been talking smack all show, and I've been
go for it.
And I'm the one who got you on. This is the thanks I get. No good deed goes unpunished. I'm gonna shut up now because K gotta go. But I ain't forget it.
So look,
I'm gonna get you back.
It's all you, sir.
I feel like the smoke goes across the board, whether who you are, it doesn't matter who you are. I'll use this analogy, and we're men here, and we all acknowledge this. And someone's going to say Slow-Mo being slanderous. I'm not. I'm gonna get there. If you marry a hoe,
oh boy,
and then you're surprised that she's
doing the hoe to a housewife conversation. Oh man, I'm gonna mute myself.
You knew what you were marrying before you married her. Why are you surprised that she's a hoe? That's who she's always been. Sony and Bungie. Freaking Destiny has never been profitable. Destiny 1 wasn't profitable. Destiny 2 wasn't profitable. Why, Sony, now are you surprised that Destiny 2 is not profitable? When you acquired them and you got the letter, you did the letter of intent, you opened up the entire books for them, and you knew what they had. You knew their game wasn't selling, and it sold, it made money, but their expenses exceeded the revenue generated. You knew that ahead of time. So why are you shocked that they're not making money for you? Why are you shocked that they gave bad advice to you on live service games? That's never who they were. That's on you for making a bad acquisition. And let me move on to Xbox. You knew who Double Fine was before you acquired them. You knew who Undead Labs were. You knew who Ninja Theory was. None of these studios ever had massive selling games. If they did, they wouldn't be in danger of being acquired. You definitely scooped in right before they were about to get shut down to get them at the price that you got them for. You knew who they were before you acquired them. So why now, after the fact, that we're going to act, hey, well, you know, that Pottery Deathmatch game didn't work out? What up, bruh? What did you think was going to happen when you acquired Double Fine? They was going to make some unique stuff, and it was going to be of quality. That's what you wanted. Freaking Matt Booty said it after they acquired these studios. They looked at Hellblade, the studio they're about to get rid of, as the barometer. We want AA studios making AA games that have AAA quality. Sure, do all of them not hit that or not hit that? Yes, absolutely. But guess what? They delivered what you asked for. Is it their fault you don't know how to market Game Pass? Is it their fault you don't know how to manage anything? You want to bring up Obsidian? Obsidian been doing this for so long. Obsidian could run Xbox better than Xbox can. So when we talk about what Obsidian does all this, Obsidian don't need to be managed. Playground don't need to be managed. The Gears dev, what is that the name? The Coalition don't need to be managed. You're not getting points from me for basically standing out of the way, which is what you've done this entire time. Greenlit everything, stand out of the way. And the studios that know what they're doing, who don't need to be guided, don't need to be micromanaged, you're not getting thumbs up from me for them doing their job. You needed to manage the other studios, and if you wanted them to make content that was going to blow up on Game Pass, maybe you shouldn't have greenlit the games. That's all I got, man.
I got.
Now it's 5 full minutes.
Yes, I
check
will.
the Discord.
I will ask you these questions in the Discord.
Check the Discord. Okay. For our retorts. And
by the way,
MJ adds one to it. Says, "Don't forget about NXI."
NXI. I got a bang about to come out next year.
Yeah,
hey,
yes.
but Kay, I know you got to go because I saw the better Kay Asante.
In the chat?
I saw those emojis in the chat.
Oh,
it's time
boy.
for you to go.
Oh boy, yes, I see it. Yeah, it's time. Go ahead. But yes, it is time. Join us in the Discord, ladies and gentlemen. There'll be more Discord conversations. I know we want to keep going. It's 3 hours, man. It's time for us to be gone. But yes, thank y'all so much for being here. Love having these conversations with y'all. We continue to have these conversations in our Discord, and as you see, we will disagree vehemently, but I love these brothers, and I know these brothers love me, and that's why we always frequent our Discord. That's why we always stay off of the socials, and we kind of cultivate our own little community, because we can have these kind of back and forths without it turning to ridiculous BS, right? So if you feel you can do the same, please join us on that Discord. I know Discord for the gray beards ain't the greatest thing on earth. I feel you. It took me some time to get in there. I had to ask the petulant one for his assistance, Lucius, to get us over the hump to understanding our Discord. But it's humming along rather nicely these days. So discord.gg/TGCP. That is the Gaming Circle Podcast. You jump in there. There's a welcome screen. You agree to the terms of service, and then look on the side. All the various channels, and most likely you'll find some audio channels where we are like 16 people deep just having crazy debates, and you can join us there as well. So please don't forget discord.gg/TGCP. I will also say, because of the petulant one, the great Lucius, and many others in our community, we're also very hot and heavy now in the gamingcircle.com. Lots of great previews. I see you, Soil Tech, before he comes after me again. The great Soil Tech, who's been putting articles up there for many, many months now. Lucius has joined us. A few other folks have joined us. The most recent one that I actually really appreciate, Toon Medic, put up his thoughts as well. Very, very cool. If you feel like you want to write for us, you know, the barometer's mad low. Just talk to me and we'll figure it out. Or if nothing else, join the gamingcircle.com and read some of the fine articles.
Just really quick.
Please follow our Twitter so that way we can choose which one of you guys get a 3-month.
Yes.
Vegan X, really quick. This is important, right? You must accept
the terms of service.
The terms of service. That's why you don't see any channels there. So when you go there, if you're not seeing anything,
there's a terms of service at the bottom. You have to hit the little check mark to agree to be nice.
Go to
and then you get then you'll see everything.
Yeah, that terms of service kind of funny when you think about it in the grand scheme of things.
Oh God, stop it!
Look, in that voice chat, I'm telling you right now, I'm trying to warn some of y'all. Some of y'all have come in thinking like everything's sweet. You come and say something stupid, right? And then everyone completely flames you. You get curb stomped, kicked around.
Oh man!
You know, you done got jailhouse booty taken, and then you
hey,
it's
not like that.
Leave the
not
Discord like man, you know, it's not an echo chamber. I'm sorry, it's not an echo chamber. Everyone has their own opinions, and they are more than willing to tell you are wrong and detail all the reasons that you're wrong and back it up with facts. So just be careful when you come through.
It's even better when you start the beef and you
he about to get messy.
Was antagonizing everybody, and now you get antagonized, and now you
Vegan X. Please reach out to me in the Discord. Reach out to me in DMs, whether it be XDM or someplace else. I will walk you through the process. I can help you through that process. In case anything's acting up funny, I'll even create a special link for you. If you really want to join, you know, I'll help you jump in. I understand it's complicated. It's confusing sometimes. We'll help you out. Don't worry.
It should be the welcome channel.
It should be the welcome channel, yes. But needless to say, and Leonard Herrera has joined us. Thank you so much, Leonard. Now, also join our Discord. We want to hear you chat. We want to hear you debate with us. Thank you so much for continuing to watch the channel and becoming a member. We appreciate it. As Lucius said, join the Gaming Circle Pod on Twitter. We are doing our best to try and get some more followers there, and we'll be giving away a 3-month pass for Game Pass on Ultimate, that is, on the Gaming Circle's Twitter page. So join us there, please. You know, like us and be a member there so that we can throw that code to you as well. Let's see, what else have we forgotten here? Thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you, Everborn Saga. We appreciate you, sir, as you tend to, and of course the great community members, both Slow Mo Backslap and the great Lucius Augustus, for being here and always like making the conversation lively. We'll leave Leonard Herrera's last super chat to be the end all of here, and that is with his $2 super chat. He says, "Great respect to you, gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here and for watching our stuff. Thanks to everybody who's been here. We were trying to make this concise, and it was longer than normal episodes. I'm sure my wife will be very appreciative. She's right here, very, very appreciative, I'm sure. Needless to say, that's the end of it. I think we're done here. Anybody got anything else, or can I shut down the stream? Going once? Going twice? All right, peace out. Till next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks for being on it.